Chapter 587. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Bang! The members of the god-slaying team knocked on their armors with their left hands in response. Don't kill the old, the weak, women, and children. Don't kill anyone below the 3rd rank. Let's go now. Get on the mounts. Knight Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and gave the order. Then, he released Tianyu. The members of the god-slaying team followed behind Knight Sorrow's Tianyu and flew toward Ji Royal City. That was the origin of Ji Yu's family. Lan Yuxuan flew behind the team. Behind the team was Yao Yang, who was wearing a golden robe. After entering the city, the team was attacked by the city guards' crossbows. However, the crossbows weren't a threat to them. Many of the members of the god-slaying team were proficient in flying swords. Each of them killed the city guards with a flying sword. Supervisor Lan, please help us destroy the teleportation formation. Just destroy it. We'll take care of the battle, Knight Sorrow said to Lan Yuxuan. Okay, I'll go now. Lan Yuxuan nodded and left. Knight Sorrow and the team flew directly toward the eastern city. G_more new fastest on $6 G Royal City was very big. After all, it was the origin of Ji Yu's family. After half a cup of tea's time, the team arrived at the ancestral land of Ji Yu's family. Set fire! Ho Jian roared. At this moment, the fire element members of the god-slaying team started shooting fire element sword lights at the gardens and houses of Ji Yu's family. The violent fire element sword light set the buildings of Ji Yu's family on fire. Split up and fight. If you can't hold on, let out a long whistle. Knight Sorrow ordered while flying on his flying feather. Following Knight Sorrow's order, the members of the god-slaying team started to land in groups of 5 and attacked in all directions. Knight Sorrow took Lei Bao, Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, Ho Jian, and a dozen others and rushed toward the ancestral shrine of Ji Yu's family. At this time, Lan Yuxuan also rushed over. She had also completed the task given to her by Knight Sorrow. The ancestral temple was the core area of Ji Yu family, and was also the symbol of Ji Yu family. However, Knight Sorrow and the others had also received the news that the people guarding the ancestral temple were all old people. Even if there were some venerables among them, they were not powerful. Those powerful venerables had already gone out to conquer the world, instead of staying in Ji Yu family. Ji Yu family was the dominator of the Qingtian realm. Therefore, no one dared to provoke them. Therefore, Ji Yu family didn't leave any powerful ones in their territory. Knight Sorrow and the others arrived in front of the ancestral temple of Ji Yu family. Ho Jian and his people started setting fires and killing guards. Knight Sorrow didn't move because he discovered that there were still venerables in the ancestral temple. While Knight Sorrow was wondering why there were 2 venerables here, an old man and a middle-aged man rushed out of the ancestral temple of Ji Yu family. Who are you? How dare you? The old man roared out. He was the old man guarding the ancestral temple of Ji Yu family. If I were a coward, I wouldn't have come to your family's territory, said Knight Sorrow coldly. You're courting death. I'm Ji Yu Haiqing, so you won't be able to leave this place alive. Ji Yu Haiqing fixed his eyes on Lan Yuxuan. His cultivation base was lower than Lan Yuxuan's, and he knew that Lan Yuxuan was his biggest enemy. Supervisor Lan, do it. Knight Sorrow waved his arm. Ji Yu Haiqing roared out while throwing a space imprisonment spell towards Knight Sorrow. Then, he waved his hand and sent out a beam of sword chi towards Knight Sorrow. He planned to kill Knight Sorrow first. Your opponent is me. You don't have much time left. Today, I'll send you away. Lan Yuxuan's body flashed across the air and blocked Ji Yu Haiqing's way. Then, the 2 of them started fighting. The middle-aged man took out a long sword and pointed it at Knight Sorrow. How dare you come to our family's territory and make trouble? Today, you'll all die. You're just a level 1 venerable who just entered the venerable realm. How dare you talk so big? Don't worry about it. Burn this place down. I want to see this place in ruins. Love go little say. Chu Knight Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and gave an order to the people behind him. Everyone below the venerable realm is like an ant. Hi, Ji Yu Zhangyuan, haven't killed anyone since I entered the venerable realm. Today, I'll start with you. The middle-aged venerable, Ji Yu Zhangyuan, looked at Knight Sorrow and the others and said, Captain. Lei Bao looked at Knight Sorrow with relief. Don't worry. I'll kill a venerable today. Knight Sorrow waved his hand and told the others to get back to work. Then, he started fighting the middle-aged venerable. Then you'll die. Ji Yu Zhangyuan waved his left hand and threw the space bind, which was unique to the venerable realm, onto Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow smiled. At this moment, the area around him was under his control. The space bind of a beginner venerable had no effect on him. Since Ji Yu Zhangyuan attacked, Knight Sorrow didn't hold back either. He rushed forward and unleashed the 7 stars brilliant moon spear art. The 7 spears merged into one and pierced towards Ji Yu Zhangyuan's chest. When Ji Yu Zhangyuan used the space bind, Yao Yang, who was protecting Knight Sorrow, became anxious and rushed forward to help. However, he stopped halfway because Ji Yu Zhangyuan's space bind was ineffective on Knight Sorrow. This meant that Knight Sorrow could fight. Ji Yu Zhangyuan was stunned when he saw that the space bind was ineffective on Knight Sorrow. He didn't understand what was going on. As a matter of fact, it wasn't Ji Yu's fault that he didn't understand. Since ancient times, void inquiry stage cultivators had to reach the venerable realm first before reaching the venerable realm. In other words, almost all those who had attained the unity of heaven and man realm were venerable realm experts. Knight Sorrow had reached the unity of heaven and man realm, and it was almost impossible for cultivators to reach the unity of heaven and man realm. Even though he was thinking, when he saw Knight Sorrow attacking him, Ji Yu Zhangyuan swung his long sword at Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear. Asterisk clang. Asterisk a crisp sound rang out. Ji Yu Zhangyuan was knocked back by Knight Sorrow's violent spear attack that was infused with spiral force. Knight Sorrow's innate strength and his spear technique were not something that Ji Yu Zhangyuan could withstand. After knocking Ji Yu Zhangyuan back, Knight Sorrow dashed forward and launched the 7-star glorious moon spear at Ji Yu Zhangyuan again. This time, Knight Sorrow used the vibration force. Ji Yu Zhangyuan roared furiously and swung his sword at Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear again. Asterisk buzz asterisk a strong vibration sound rang out. Ji Yu Zhangyuan's body was knocked back again. His right arm was raised to the back. The strong vibration caused him to suffer a great loss. Right at this moment, Knight Sorrow threw the space bind that he had mastered onto Ji Yu Zhangyuan. After that, the innate bloodline power in his body erupted and he released a spatial crack. Asterisk rip asterisk the sound of something piercing through the air was heard. The space in front of Knight Sorrow was cut open like a calm water surface. Sensing danger, Ji Yu Zhangyuan dodged to the side. Although he dodged very quickly, Knight Sorrow's space bind still affected him. Affected by the spatial crack, his left arm and half of his shoulder were cut off. I said that I will kill the venerable today, so I will definitely kill him. Knight Sorrow dashed forward and launched the 7-star glorious moon spear again. This time, he did not merge the 7 spears into one. Instead, he launched 7 spear lights at Ji Yu Zhangyuan. Damn it! At this moment, Ji Yu Zhangyuan wanted to run away. However, Knight Sorrow's attack was too fast. Ji Yu Zhangyuan had no choice but to swing his sword to block Knight Sorrow's spear lights. Sword chi pierced through the air and blocked Knight Sorrow's spear lights. However, the reincarnation spear was very close to Ji Yu Zhangyuan's chest. After blocking the sword Qi, Jiyu Zhangyuan's long sword shook again and blocked Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. Chapter 588. Geniuses Remember Love in 1 Second. This is a wonderful novel for you to read. Night Sorrow thrust his spear into Jiyu's chest, then pressed his right arm down, cutting Jiyu's chest open and shattering his dantian. The reincarnation spear stopped in front of Jiyu's dantian. Night Sorrow and Jiyu stared at each other. Why? Jiyu's face was filled with unwillingness. He had just entered the venerable realm and was in high spirits, thinking that he had reached the peak of his life. But now, it was all over. We have no grudge against each other, but your Jiyu family is too arrogant and owes me too much. I'm sorry. Night Sorrow shook his head and said. The Time Master of our Jiyu family will kill you. Then, Jiyu Changyuan fell to the ground and died with his eyes wide open. Night Sorrow waved his hand and put away Jiyu's storage ring and long sword. He knew that the Venerable of Time mentioned by Jiyu was Jiyu Hao. At this moment, Lan Yuxuan was still fighting with Jiyu Haiqing in the sky. Jiyu Haiqing was completely suppressed by Lan Yuxuan. The members of the god-slaying team either killed guards or rode their mounts to set up a fire in Jiyu family's territory. Lei Bao also set fire to the ancestral temple of the Jiyu family. Lei Bao, tell everyone to move faster and find the warehouse, Night Sorrow said to Lei Bao and the others. After a while, Lan Yuxuan killed Jiyu Haiqing. Night Sorrow stood in front of the ancestral temple of the Jiyu family, watching the temple burn and then collapse. Half an hour later, the members of the god-slaying team returned. We found a secret room and collected a lot of spirit stones, pills, and some mineral materials. We have given them to Liyue, Xueling said. Let's charge towards the city lord's mansion. I don't think we'll even need to reach the city lord's mansion to meet the city lord's mansion's people. That's not a problem. If we kill our way there, the city lord's mansion will be burned down. Night Sorrow rode Heavenly Feather in front. At the moment, the ancestral land of Jiyu family was ablaze. One could say that the ancestral land of Jiyu family was destroyed. Not long after they left the ancestral land of Jiyu family, the god-slaying team ran into the city guards. Led by Night Sorrow, the god-slaying team started a massacre. The city lord of Ji Royal City's city lord manor was a supremacy, but he wasn't Lan Yuxuan's match and was directly killed. Night Sorrow and the others had already landed on the ground and were killing their way forward. The members of the god-slaying squad who were free would set fire to both sides of the main street. Everyone knew that those who could set up shops on both sides of the main street were definitely not ordinary civilians. Let's go straight to the city lord's mansion, don't set it on fire. Night Sorrow shouted. In Night Sorrow's heart, revenge was a must. He also had to attack Jiyu family. However, he saw children hugging their mother's legs on both sides of the street. They didn't dare to enter the buildings because they were afraid that the houses would be burned down. Night Sorrow was a little touched by this scene. He didn't want these children to live a bad life because of his decision. The hatred was caused by the higher-ups of Jiyu family. Night Sorrow felt that it wasn't right to let the children bear it. Don't resist. Otherwise, we will continue to kill. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and roared. At this moment, the city guards of Ji Royal City were frightened because their commander and captain had been killed. Glancing at the city guards who had retreated to both sides, Night Sorrow led the god-slaying team to the front of the city lord's mansion. Let's go. Don't leave any cultivators above stage 3 in the city lord's mansion. Also, check if there are any warehouses. Pay attention to the underground. Night Sorrow instructed. Then, the members of the god-slaying team started to move. Night Sorrow stood there with his reincarnation spear. What's wrong? Do you feel something? Lan Yuxuan came to Night Sorrow's side and asked. Yes. The consequences of war are very serious. I don't know how many people have lost their homes this time. Night Sorrow said with some emotion. It's not our fault. Jiyu family caused this, Lan Yuxuan said. Yes. War is cruel. Night Sorrow nodded. After a while, the city lord's mansion began to burn. Lei Bao and the other members of the Blood Strike Guard were all warlike. They would spare no effort to attack Jiyu family. Forever. Free of charge. Free of charge. Speak. Captain, we have a great harvest. Xue Ling led the members of the god-slaying team out of the city lord's mansion with a few big boxes. What are they? Night Sorrow asked. They are all spirit stones. There are more than 200 high-grade spirit stones and a few thousand medium-grade spirit stones. There are also materials for alchemy and weapon forging, Xue Ling said. Liyue, take them. Night Sorrow said to Nan Liyue. Strange. Why didn't they put them in the storage rings of important people? Nan Liyue muttered to herself as she collected the materials. These are shared resources. They have to be counted and recorded. It's not something that can be managed by just one person, Sikong Chuyu said. That's a good thing. It's a good thing for us, Ling Long said with a smile. Ling Long, Ho Jian, Xue Ling, take some people and burn down the buildings that belong to the city lord's mansion. I will wait for you here. Remember, don't hurt the civilians. Supervisor Lan, you follow as well. Don't let any experts appear suddenly, Night Sorrow said. Yes. Everyone bowed, including Lan Yuxuan. Lan Yuxuan's cultivation was high, but Night Sorrow was a heaven's extremity emissary. She had to follow Night Sorrow's orders. Night Sorrow held the reincarnation spear and stood in front of the city lord's mansion. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu stood behind him. No one questioned Night Sorrow's decision. In fact, everyone knew that staying in front of the city lord's mansion was the most dangerous. Even if the experts of Jiyu's family came to rescue them, they would first go to a place like the city lord's mansion. After half an hour, the members of the god-slaying team returned. Their mission was completed. In other words, the real core industries and buildings of Jiyu's family were completely destroyed. Luli City, let's go. Supervisor Lan, come with me. Night Sorrow let out Tianyu and set off with the group. Night Sorrow was not afraid of being reported. The teleportation array of Ji Royal City had been destroyed by Lan Yuxuan. Even if someone wanted to report, it would not be so fast. Night Sorrow, did you kill a venerable realm expert today? Ling Long, who was following behind Night Sorrow, asked. That was a guy who had just broken through to the venerable realm. His strength was ordinary. It was nothing. Night Sorrow said. Ling Long did not say anything. The others also fell into deep thought and did not say anything. Night Sorrow did not care about it at all. However, he had broken a common rule. He had broken a taboo in the heart of an ordinary cultivator. It was also the shackle in the heart of a cultivator. Venerable realm experts were invincible unless they reached the venerable realm. This was also the reason why everyone below the venerable realm was treated as ants. The venerable realm was the dividing line for cultivators. There was no comparison between a void inquiry stage expert and a venerable realm expert. However, Night Sorrow had broken the common rule today. A void inquiry stage expert could also kill a venerable realm expert. Liyue, your harvest is not bad, right? This is the storage ring of that venerable realm expert. Night Sorrow threw Ji storage ring and long sword to Nan Liyue. Chapter 589. Geniuses remember love in 1 second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Captain, let's talk about the resources. If you fight alone, you can keep the loot. If you fight together, you can give the resources to the team. Just like the warehouse in GU's ancestral land and the resources in the mansion, they belong to the team. Everyone can enjoy them together. If you fight alone, you don't have to hand them in, Ho Jian said to Night Sorrow. Captain, this is also the result of our discussion, Xueling said. Okay, that works too, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow originally wanted to hand in the long sword. However, after holding it in his hand, he realized that it was a low-level spiritual weapon of the water element. He could give it to Sikong Chuyu. Jiwang City was still some distance away from Luli City. It would take 3 days to get there. Night Sorrow, this is the space crystal of Jiwang City's teleportation portal. It's very big. Even if you cut it, you can cut several parts. Jiu's family is really extravagant. Lan Yuxuan, who was standing beside Night Sorrow, took out a space crystal and handed it to Night Sorrow. Holding the space crystal, Night Sorrow was stunned. The value of the space crystal was very high. Lan Yuxuan gave it to him just like that. Chuyu, what's the price of the space crystal? Night Sorrow looked at Sikong Chuyu and asked. It's usually exchanged for top-grade crystals. The price is determined by how many parts can be cut. The main body doesn't count. If you can cut one part, you can get 5 top-grade spiritual stones. Of course, if you can cut more parts, the price will be higher, Sikong Chuyu said. This should be able to cut 3 parts, which is 15 top-grade spiritual stones. Night Sorrow took out 15 top-grade spiritual stones and handed it to Lan Yuxuan. That's not necessary. How can I take your spiritual stones? Lan Yuxuan said. She took out the space crystal because it wasn't very useful to her. Besides, she took it out because she wanted to build a good relationship with Night Sorrow. Take it. You deserve it. Night Sorrow hesitated for a moment. Then, he pulled Lan Yuxuan's sleeve and put the spiritual stones into it. Night Sorrow had his own standards. If he didn't deserve it, he would never take it. Because he had taken advantage of others, Yishan didn't want to lower his head in front of anyone. In terms of personality, Yishan would never let himself be in debt. This way, he could always stand upright. Lan Yuxuan nodded. She knew that since Yishang had made his decision, there was no point in rejecting him. After flying for a day, the sky darkened and everyone began to set up camp to rest. Nan Liyue, Ho Jian, and Xueling counted their gains in Ji Royal City. After checking, everyone was surprised. The harvest was too big. There were several hundred high-grade spirit stones, and there was no need to mention the mid-grade spirit stones. In addition, there were also a lot of alchemy materials and refining materials. Then, Nan Liyue handed the elixir refining materials to Night Sorrow. That's a lot. When I'm done, I'll give you the elixir pills, Night Sorrow said. As long as we have enough elixir pills, Nan Liyue said. After resting for a night, the group continued to move forward. The 2 most important bases of Jiu's family were Jiwang City and Luli City. Jiwang City was the origin of Jiu's family. It was very important and could be said to be the place to cultivate the next generation of the family. Luli City was the center of Jiu's family business. It was a commercial city. It could be said that the lifeline of Jiu's family was there. Inspector Lan, Luli City is an important city of Jiu's family. If there are many venerables, we may not be able to take it down, Sikong Chuyu said. Free of charge. Read 1 novel, it doesn't matter. We're prepared. Someone will deal with the venerables. Lan Yuxuan opened her mouth and said. You're reading on novel full thanks, Lan Yuxuan said. Night Sorrow nodded. Sikong Chuyu's question was also what he wanted to ask. Although he was not afraid, he would never let his brother take unnecessary risks. When the group arrived outside Luli's city, there were already people waiting for them. They were the two elders of Tianji Tower. The two elders did not wear masks. They wore veils mainly because they did not want to attract attention. Inspector Lan is here, the two elders said. This is the two heaven emissaries, Lan Yuxuan introduced. The two elders directly bowed to Night Sorrow and Ling Long. Then, Night Sorrow found out that the two elders had arrived 2 days ago. However, they did not make a move. Because even if they did, the two of them would not be able to do anything big. If they killed the other party's venerables, the other party would be on guard. As for the venerables slaughtering the city, this was something that all the venerables disdained to do. Then, the attack began. The two elders directly entered the city and went to kill the other party's venerables. Night Sorrow and the others also directly charged into the city. Attack, rob, and burn the businesses with the GU family symbol. Don't touch the businesses of other forces. Also, don't hurt the innocent, Night Sorrow said. In Night Sorrow's eyes, the old, the weak, women, children, and cultivators below the 3rd level were all innocent. The two elders of Tianji Tower killed their way in first. When Night Sorrow and the others rushed into Luli's city, there were no venerables opponents. Without any venerables opponents, Night Sorrow and the others swept through. GU family shops and businesses were destroyed one after another. However, Night Sorrow and the others also adhered to the principle. If they did not resist, they would not kill. Soon, they arrived at the city lord's mansion. In the sky above the mansion, there were 4 people fighting. 2 of them were the venerables of Luli's city while the other 2 were the elders of Tianji Tower. The 2 elders of Tianji Tower had the absolute upper hand because the level of the venerables of Luli's city was not very high. The higher level venerables had already been mobilized by Sky-bearing City to the battlefield in the Realm Sea. Kill our way in. After we're done, burn the city lord's mansion. Night Sorrow stood in front of the gate of the mansion and shouted. The members of the god-slaying squad had already killed their way in. They directly raised their weapons and charged towards the guards of the mansion. The cultivation bases of the guards of the mansion were very high. They were all at the late void inquiry stage. In one-on-one combat, they were stronger than the members of the god-slaying squad. However, the members of the god-slaying squad did not only fight one-on-one. They also had joint formations which could kill their enemies with high efficiency. Who would be so free to fight one-on-one? Night Sorrow stood there without moving because there was no need for him to do anything. The guards of the mansion were indeed very strong. However, they were still not on the same level as the members of the god-slaying squad. After a short while, they were all killed. Corpses were everywhere. After that, Ling Long and Nan Liyue led their people and charged into the mansion. There was a storehouse of resources in the mansion which they must seize. The battle in the sky was also coming to an end. The 2 venerables of Luli's city were no match for the elders of Tianji Tower and were killed one after another. Lord Heaven Terminus Emissary, our mission has been completed. We need to go to the next place. After the 2 elders of Tianji Tower kept the spoils of war they obtained from killing the venerables, they nodded at Night Sorrow and Ling Long and left. You don't want the resources? Night Sorrow looked at Lan Yuxuan and asked in surprise. Chapter 590. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with interesting novels to read. After collecting the resources from the underground warehouse, Ho Jian and Xueling divided the god-slaying team into several teams and continued attacking Valurium City. Love go little say netku war is cruel. The GU family was too arrogant. They finally paid the price for their actions, Night Sorrow said emotionally. Do you know why the GU family developed so quickly? It's because they often start wars and make money from them. They should have thought of today's consequences, Sikong Chuyu said. That's the truth. The GU family made a fortune from war. Naturally, they lost because of war, Lan Yuxuan said. Now that we're done here, where are we going next? Yang Lei asked. There's no mission. The secret combat letter only asked us to attack these two places. We've already completed the mission, Night Sorrow said. The two places we attacked are the two most convenient cities. That's enough. If we attack other places, they'll be prepared. Actually, this is a good result. We're just one of the teams in this war, Lan Yuxuan said. X. Yongju P/free novel F0. An hour later, the GU family's forces in Valurium City were all eliminated. Night Sorrow ordered the team to retreat and rode their mounts back to Sky-bearing City. I wonder if there's a war in Sky-bearing City, Night Sorrow muttered to himself as he stood on Tianyu's back. There must be. There's no need to think about it. That's the core area of the GU family. If we don't attack the GU family's forces in Sky-bearing City, it'll be useless no matter how good our outer achievements are, Lan Yuxuan said. The war in Sky-bearing City will be fierce because the GU family has many venerables in Sky-bearing City. Plus, the City Lord Mansion won't just sit by and watch, so it's hard to imagine how fierce it will be, said Sikong Chuyu. We'll know when we get back to Sky-bearing City, Night Sorrow said. He was quite anxious to know the specific situation of the war. After a few days, the group reached the outskirts of Sky-bearing City. Night Sorrow, you guys wait here. I'll go back to the city to take a look and then come back to inform everyone, Lan Yuxuan said. Night Sorrow and the rest were stationed outside the city, waiting for Lan Yuxuan's news. 2 hours later, Lan Yuxuan returned and told everyone that the battle in Sky-bearing City was over. They could enter the city now. The group went straight to the Celestial Peak Pavilion. Inside the Celestial Peak Pavilion, Night Sorrow met Lin Yuandao. Supervisor Lan, arrange for everyone to rest first. Night Sorrow, you and Ling Long come with me to the Dark Tower, Lin Yuandao said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow instructed Ho Jian and Xue Ling to lead the team and followed Lin Yuandao to the Dark Tower. Night Sorrow saw Le Trin Swan in the Dark Tower. Night Sorrow, Ling Long, you're all here. Sit. Le Trin Swan greeted them. Lord Tower, did we win this battle? Night Sorrow asked somewhat anxiously. No one won this time, but Sky-bearing City suffered a great loss, Lin Yuandao said. Then Lin Yuandao explained the situation of the battle. Le Trin Swan hadn't reached the sovereign realm as he'd hoped. He'd only reached the half-step saint realm. Wu Lingfei, Lin Yuandao, Gui Xiao, and Le Trin Swan had gone to Le Trin Swan's mansion in Sky-bearing City to kill Ji Yu Haitian. In the end, they'd severely injured Ji Yu Haitian, but he'd still escaped through Le Trin Swan's defense. Then Wu Lingfei began to pursue Ji Yu Haitian. Lin Yuandao, Gui Xiao, and Le Trin Swan returned to the Realm's Sea battlefield and began to attack Sky-bearing City's allied forces. At this moment, another saint from Sky-bearing City appeared and repelled Lin Yuandao and the others. She'd also injured Gui Xiao and said that if more saints participated in the realm war, no one would be able to bear the consequences. However, at this time, Eastern Xian's allied forces in Sky-bearing City and Western Nether City had already begun to move. The saint from Sky-bearing City had made it very clear that she didn't care about the realm war, but saints couldn't attack non-saints from Sky-bearing City. This made the situation even more grim. Eastern Xian's allied forces were stronger than Sky-bearing Cities, but both sides would suffer great losses if they fought. Thus, both sides could only stop fighting. Of course, Sky-bearing City couldn't attack even if they wanted to, and Eastern Xian didn't want to suffer great losses. How's Aunt Fei's situation? Night Sorrow was most worried about Wu Lingfei's safety. Compared to Master Wu Kei, Jiyu Haitian's cultivation is indeed higher, but his battle prowess is not as good as Master Wu Kei's. Furthermore, Jiyu Haitian has been seriously injured. Besides, Master Wu Kei has the polar moon wheel, so she is already in an invincible position. Lin Yuandao reassured Yishang. That's good. Quickly arrange for our forces to retreat. Once their venerables return, our other forces will be at a disadvantage, Night Sorrow said. That's already arranged. Don't worry. Lin Yuandao nodded to Night Sorrow. Does this mean that this realm war will end just like that? Ling Long asked. Yes, there's nothing we can do about it. That saint is very strong, and I can't see her cultivation. In addition, she's very afraid of our Tianji Tower. She said that even if our Tianji Tower has a backer, we shouldn't go too far. If she didn't have scruples, we would have suffered heavy losses this time, Lin Yuandao said. Does that mean that our Tianji Tower also has a hidden saint expert? Night Sorrow thought for a moment and asked. It's possible, but I'm not sure. Now that the situation has stabilized, although we didn't completely eliminate the Jiyu family, we've greatly damaged their vitality, Lin Yuandao said. Is Supervisor Guo's injury serious? Night Sorrow asked. It's not a big problem. It's just that he hasn't advanced for long. He clashed with the other party and shook his origin, so he needs to rest for a while. Lin Yuandao nodded to Night Sorrow. Then I'm relieved. If there's nothing else, let's go back to the Eastern Profound Domain. Night Sorrow was a little anxious. He wanted to go back to the Qingxin cottage and see if Wu Lingfei had returned. I understand that you're anxious. Then you can go back. If there's any news about Master Wu Kei, let me know. Also, go back and rest and cultivate well. Let's not talk about the Qingtian domain first. There's still a battle in the Taiqing domain. The Tianfeng dynasty doesn't take our Tianji Tower seriously, so we'll beat them until they do, Lin Yuandao said to Night Sorrow. Now, Lin Yuandao had a deep grudge against the Tianfeng dynasty. After the Tianfeng dynasty left the stage of the Taiqing domain on Night Moon, the Yun dynasty guarded their own territory and didn't fight for it. This made the Tianfeng dynasty arrogant, thinking that they were the boss of the Taiqing domain. They even began to be hostile to the Tianji Tower and even squeezed the Tianji Tower's development. This made the Tianji Tower, which built its first base in the Taiqing domain, very angry, but they didn't take any radical measures and just maintained peace. This time, the Tianfeng dynasty once again interfered in the battle between the Qingtian domain and the Eastern Profound domain. This made Lin Yuandao angry and decided to give the Tianfeng dynasty a blow. Chapter 591. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second. We provide you with interesting novels to read. It's a pity that we didn't manage to hurt the foundation of Jiyu clan. Night Sorrow sighed and said. Not really. The war has indeed stopped. However, before that, Sword Venerable North Heaven led a team from the East Xian region and the North Sea region to kill a few people in Sky-bearing City. Many of Jiyu clan's venerables were killed and most of their properties were destroyed by the Blood Robes guards of the East Xian region. Lin Yuandao said. That's good. Lord K. Lord, if there's nothing else, we'll go back now. Night Sorrow said. You guys did a great job this time. However, you've also made Jiyu clan your enemy. So, be careful in the future. Lin Yuandao said. He was a little worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Junior brother Yi should be fine. Lord K. Lord, you don't know that junior brother Yi killed a venerable from Jiyu clan with just a few moves a few days ago. Ling Long said with a smile. Great. Killing a venerable before entering the venerable realm. You're the only one in the 9 regions and 18 prefectures. Alright, let's go back. After hearing Ling Long's words, Lin Yuandao was greatly shocked. One should know that Night Sorrow had yet to reach the peak of the void inquiry stage. When he enters the venerable realm in the future, his strength would be even stronger. Night Sorrow left and Ling Long followed him. The two of them arrived at the underground hall of the Celestial Peak Pavilion. Senior Sister Ling Long, are you going to stay in the headquarters for a while or go back together? Night Sorrow looked at Ling Long and asked while walking towards the place where the god-slaying squad was resting. Ling Long smiled. You shouldn't ask this. I'm a member of the god-slaying squad. Of course, I'll go with them. Junior brother Yi, don't you like me? Night Sorrow nodded at Ling Long. Why wouldn't I like you? I just didn't know you well in the past. After fighting with you for a few times, I feel that you're not bad. Sigh. It's really hard to get a good comment from you. Ling Long gave Night Sorrow a dissatisfied look. When they arrived at Lan Yushuan's courtyard, Night Sorrow called for the members of the god-slaying squad and led them to the Tianji Tower strategic transportation array, rushing toward the eastern Xian region. Half an hour later, Night Sorrow led the group to Dongxian City. At this moment, eastern Xian City was filled with a festive atmosphere because the eastern Xian region had performed very well in this realm war. It was a great victory. Night Sorrow didn't care about this. He asked the others to lead the team back to Qingxin Cottage. He drove Tianyu to Tianji Tower. When they arrived at Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow asked Din Shui and Ho Yuan. Neither of them knew anything about Wu Lingfei. Afterwards, Night Sorrow rushed to the city lord's mansion and asked Lei Hua, who was handling matters in the city lord's mansion. Lei Hua didn't know about Wu Lingfei's situation either. Left with no choice, Night Sorrow could only return to Qingxin Cottage. Riding Tianyu to the sky above Qingxin Cottage, Night Sorrow's heart suddenly trembled. He saw the silver-winged eagle king shaking its wings and combing its feathers outside the observation tower. In a flash, Night Sorrow landed in front of the observation tower and entered it. In the hall of the observation tower, Night Sorrow saw Wu Lingfei meditating with her eyes closed. Translator, Henyi Translations Editor, Wu Lingfei opened her eyes and nodded at Night Sorrow. You're back. Have a seat. Night Sorrow looked at Wu Lingfei carefully and asked, Are you alright, Aunt Fei? I'm fine. It's just that the Qing Tian region wasn't prepared for another saint, so they didn't win the realm war. There was a hint of regret in Wu Lingfei's eyes. There's nothing we can do about it. It's fine as long as you're not injured. Love go little say, Chu. Seeing that Wu Lingfei was safe and sound, Night Sorrow felt a lot more at ease. Ji Yuhaitian isn't qualified to hurt Aunt Fei. As for him, even if he's not dead, he'll have to shed a layer of skin, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. What exactly happened? Hearing that Ji Yuhaitian had suffered a setback, Night Sorrow's interest was piqued. Aunt Fei cut off his right arm and gave him two mysterious jade hands. His life source and meridian suffered a great blow. I don't think there's any possibility of recovery. In the end, he used blood escape, which caused him to lose even more essence blood. I think he'll have to recuperate for a long time. Wu Lingfei said. That's good. What do you think about the appearance of a saint in the Qingtian region? Night Sorrow asked. There's nothing to think about. It's fine if she doesn't provoke the eastern Xian region, but if she provokes us, we'll see who's easy to provoke, Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that this was Wu Lingfei's character. If she had to fight, she would fight. Regardless of the outcome, she would fight to the death. Did it go smoothly this time? Wu Lingfei asked again. Everything went smoothly. Aunt Fei, you're safe. Just inform Lord Quebec. They're all very worried, Night Sorrow said. Wu Lingfei smiled and told Night Sorrow that she had already arranged for someone to inform Lord Quebec. She had also just returned. After chatting with Wu Lingfei for a while, Night Sorrow returned to the main building in the backyard. When Night Sorrow returned, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu were drinking tea and chatting. "Did you see Aunt Fei?" Sikong Chuyu asked. "Yes, Auntie Fei has returned," Yishang said. Then, while drinking tea and chatting, Night Sorrow told them about the situation that Ling Yuandao had told him. He also told them about the saint in the Qingtian region intervening. "I didn't expect the region war to end like this," Yang Lei said. This also highlights the importance of the invincible venerables. When the saint is restrained and unable to make a move, the invincible venerables are the key to victory, Sikong Chuyu said. "That's right." Yang Lei nodded. "Next, we'll have a good rest and improve our cultivation," Sikong Chuyu said. Sikong Chuyu's character was gentle. She liked a quiet life and didn't like to cause trouble. She didn't like the days of going back and forth on the battlefield. Maybe not because Tianji Tower is probably going to go to war with the Tianfeng dynasty in the Taiqing region. The Tianfeng dynasty is too despicable. This time, they had nothing to do with it, but they still got involved, Night Sorrow said. "Then when will the war start?" Yang Lei preferred a life full of challenges. Her character and Sikong Chuyu's were polar opposites. "I don't know, but the Chief Tower Master mentioned this to me. It should be put on the agenda soon. The reason they haven't taken action yet is probably because they're recovering from the shock of the region war. After that, they'll start the war," Night Sorrow said. "Then we'd better improve our cultivation. You're lagging behind us." Sikong Chuyu changed the topic and didn't say anything about cultivating quietly. She was considerate. She didn't want her thoughts to affect Night Sorrow's train of thought. She didn't want to be a burden to Night Sorrow. Chapter 592. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao. Shua Web, providing you with wonderful novels to read. This book has been published for more than 3 months, and I have written nearly 1.2 million words. All along, I have asked for rewards, but today is different. This is the first time the website is holding an event, the Soap King event. Baidu search love go female sign Shao Shua www.aiqx. Everyone should know that this book has 1.2 million words, and I have not missed a single 5 chapters a day, nor have I stopped. This is almost unheard of in web novels. I am doing this because of my persistence and conviction. It is also my principle as a person. A person's character is the quality of a book. If a person is not suitable for it, no matter how good the book is, it is useless. Because if people don't like you, they will not like your book. I can guarantee that this book will be updated continuously and will not be unfinished. However, if I don't participate in this event, it will be really embarrassing. I have never asked my friends who usually don't reward me, but this time, the website is holding an event together, so I need everyone's support. Brothers and sisters who like Myriad Daos becomes a god, please donate 1 or 2 pieces of soap. It can be considered as a form of support for me. Thank you everyone. Forever, forever, watch for free, H. Shao, Sebi. The preliminary competition will last for 10 days from today to the 29th. The website is holding the Soap King event. Go and find Myriad Daos becomes a god to support me. In addition, this does not conflict with the reward. As long as the reward exceeds 200 yuan, I will add more chapters on top of the guaranteed minimum of 4 chapters. If there are 10 chapters, then I will add 10 chapters. Still the same sentence, I guarantee my character. Actually, I can set 2 chapters as a guarantee. 3 chapters as a guarantee, but I feel that since I am writing this book, I will continue to be violent until the end. For chapters as a guarantee, I can still persevere. Although my body is a little weak, I can still make up for it with less rest. Bow and thank all my brothers and sisters who support She-Boy and Myriad Daos becomes a god. Chapter 593. Genius 1 second. Remember, love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with interesting novels to read. I'm fine, but Chuyu is suffering. She feels unreconciled. This time, we were clearly going to win and cripple the Qing Tian region and Jiyu clan. However, something unexpected still happened. Yang Lei was a little annoyed as she said this. What are you doing? Yang Lei was a little annoyed as she said this. If the battle between the true saints was decided by the battle between the true saints, we would have nothing to do. It would be much less exciting. Didn't they agree that the true saints would not interfere in the battle between regions? Then, after we break through to the venerable realm, the world will be ours. Knight Sorrow was very happy that such a situation happened. After that, Aunt Feng arranged for the servants to send the dishes to the backyard. Knight Sorrow also gave Aunt Feng some mid-grade spirit stones to use for the expenses of the mansion. Now that there were many people in the mansion, the expenses would be higher. Love Go Little Say W. Chu. After dinner, Knight Sorrow went to visit the members of the god-slaying team again. He chatted with them for a while and also told them that there might be more battles happening in the future. After hearing the news, Ho Jian, Xueling and the others were very excited. They were all warlike and were afraid that there would be no battles. Haha! That's great. We can only get income from battles again. This time, the resources we obtained are very considerable. If we use them well, it won't be a problem for us brothers to use them for several years. Nan Liu said in a money-grubbing manner. All right. You guys have won. Work hard to improve your cultivation base. The combat strength of an early void inquiry stage cultivator is completely different from a mid-void inquiry stage cultivator. You guys can eat extreme void pills after reaching the 3rd level of the void inquiry stage. Then, it won't be difficult for you to reach the 4th level of the void inquiry stage. Liu, our brothers must have sufficient resources. I don't want to delay our brothers' time and future because of the lack of resources. Knight Sorrow looked at Nan Liu and said. Captain, don't worry about this. I've kept some of the high-grade spirit stones as backup. The rest have been found. Also, everyone has a stock of clear void pills. Nan Liu said. Haha. Liu, you didn't give them to the captain, right? Ho Jian looked at Nan Liu and said. This matter, I really forgot about it. Captain, here's your share. Nan Liu took out some high-grade spirit stones. I don't need it, I have it, Knight Sorrow said. That won't do. This is our team's system. I've already given it to 9th senior sister and Chuyu. We're only lacking Captain. Besides, Captain was the one who paid for the teleportation fees. Nan Liu insisted. Then give it to me next time. That's it for now, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. That's fine too. Captain is rich, Nan Liu said with a smile. After chatting with the members of the god-slaying squad for a while, Knight Sorrow went to the backyard. After spending the night with the 2 women, Knight Sorrow greeted the 2 women and went to cultivate. Knight Sorrow's current cultivation direction was mainly soul power and bloodline power, followed by true chi and the myriad Dao treasured tome. Fortunately, these points didn't conflict. The space-time pagoda could help Knight Sorrow improve his soul power, bloodline power, and true chi. To cultivate the myriad Dao treasured tome, he had to absorb the energy of the Xian turtle crystal alone. Love Go Little Say W. Chu. Currently, Knight Sorrow's strength couldn't increase greatly because his true chi and the myriad Dao treasured tome couldn't be upgraded in the near future. It was the same for soul power and bloodline power. Night Sorrow mainly focused on condensing the crescent blade to increase the attack power of the soul extinguishing slash. This cultivation lasted for 2 days. After leaving the secret cultivation room, Night Sorrow walked towards the viewing tower. He wanted to ask Wu Lingfei about the next year's cultivation direction for the spatial split. When he arrived at the viewing tower, Night Sorrow was surprised to see Wu Lingfei strolling with her hands behind her back. "You seem to be in good spirits." Seeing Night Sorrow walk over, Wu Lingfei greeted him. Night Sorrow went to the pavilion in front of the viewing tower and took out a tea set to make a pot of tea. "Auntie Fei, I'm a little confused. I want to ask you something." "Well, if there's anything you don't understand, just say it. You don't have to be polite with me," Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Then Night Sorrow told her about his confusion about the spatial split. Wu Lingfei asked Night Sorrow to use the spatial split with all his strength. "The first half of your spatial split has already formed. You can't enter the spatial turbulence because your cultivation level is too low. Also, there's a problem with the protective energy," Wu Lingfei said. Then Wu Lingfei explained to Night Sorrow in detail about the direction of the spatial split. Now that Night Sorrow used the spatial split, he could delay the closing of the spatial split because he had the union of heaven and man. However, if Night Sorrow wanted to enter the spatial turbulence, he first needed to protect himself from the spatial turbulence. If he didn't want to be hurt by the spatial turbulence, he needed a powerful protective energy. When the experts of the Night Moon dynasty used the spatial split to enter the spatial turbulence, they used their bloodline's innate spatial power to protect themselves. The spatial turbulence was violent, and contained many types of energy. Ordinary types of energy would not be able to withstand it. But Wu Lingfei felt that Night Sorrow didn't need to use the traditional spatial split. Night Sorrow had the supreme attribute of void true energy. Void energy was even more domineering than spatial energy, and would consume less energy to enter the spatial turbulence. Night Sorrow, the spatial split is a heaven-defying technique. There aren't many experts in the Night Moon dynasty who can use it. Only the emperors with heaven-defying cultivation bases can use it. This is why most of the people in the Night Moon dynasty were able to retreat when they were ambushed. If your cultivation base is high enough, you can use the energy to envelop some people and send them into the spatial turbulence. "How are they supposed to pursue you?" Wu Lingfei said. "I'll look into it," Night Sorrow said. "Yes. You'll probably have to wait until you reach the sovereign realm before you can figure out its effects. You're at one with the world, but your cultivation base is too low. It's not the same as a sovereign's one with the world. Your one with the world allows you to fuse your spiritual strength with the space around you. But a sovereign's one with the world allows you to fuse your spiritual strength with the space around you. But a sovereign's one with the world allows you to fuse your spiritual strength with the space around you. That way, your control over the spatial turbulence will be much stronger. Once you reach the sovereign realm, perhaps you'll be able to prevent the spatial turbulence from harming you," Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. "I understand. Thank you, Auntie Fei." Yi Shang nodded towards Wu Lingfei. After listening to Wu Lingfei's explanation, his heart became much clearer. "Don't worry. You're doing very well. The main thing you need to focus on is the cultivation of your spiritual strength. That's the most important thing. You have a treasure, so Aunt Fei won't teach you any soul defense incantations." Wu Lingfei poured Night Sorrow a cup of tea. "There's a soul defense incantation?" Night Sorrow looked at Wu Lingfei in surprise. "Of course. Otherwise, what if you meet a cultivator who specializes in soul attacks? Why is Sword Master Northern Sky so strong? It's because he has a sword skill that attacks the soul. If your soul defense is weak, you'll be killed instantly," Wu Lingfei said. "I understand. I don't need to cultivate soul defense incantations," Night Sorrow said. With the Void Fate Jewel, Night Sorrow's deity C couldn't be any more stable. Unspecified currency, $head /hair. Chapter 594. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. I'll provide you with a wonderful novel to read. Ever since Yishang's soul power had entered the liquid state, he had noticed that the ethereal fate pearl had changed. It was spinning in Yishang's soul power lake, constantly absorbing Yishang's soul power. But while it was absorbing, it was also releasing energy to replenish Yishang's godly sea. Night Sorrow knew that this was a process of assimilation. When the nihility fate pearl stopped absorbing his soul power, the assimilation and refinement would be complete. Then, he would be able to truly control the nihility fate pearl and the nihility space. But soul attack secret techniques are too rare. My soul defense secret techniques come from the inherited memories of my race. I don't have any soul attack secret techniques, so I can't help you with that, Wu Lingfei said apologetically. Aunt Fei, I have a soul attack secret technique. You can take a look. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and took out the soul destruction slash. He felt that the death secret technique was the inheritance of the dark soul saint. It wouldn't be appropriate for him to pass it on. The soul destruction slash shouldn't be included. As for whether or not it was appropriate for him to give it to Wu Lingfei, Night Sorrow felt that it was appropriate. Wu Lingfei had treated him wholeheartedly, so there was nothing she wouldn't teach him. Where did you get this? Wu Lingfei pressed her hand on the book and looked at Yishan. Night Sorrow told Wu Lingfei about how he had obtained the inheritance of the Dark Soul Saint in the death space. The death secret technique is the inheritance of the Dark Soul Saint. It's not appropriate for others to study it, but you can take a look at the soul destruction slash. Although I don't want to, I've been taking advantage of you this whole time. Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow with embarrassment. Auntie Fei, am I not your relative? Yi Shang asked. You're right. Aunt Fei should study it well. The world is a mess, and we don't know when there will be a war. It's always good to have one more trick up your sleeve, Wu Lingfei said. After chatting with Wu Lingfei for a while, Night Sorrow returned to his residence and played with Tianyu and Silver Fox. Night Sorrow played with the two beasts for a while. Sikong Chuyu ran out of the room and came to Night Sorrow's side. Night Sorrow, my sky blue body has been successfully cultivated. That's great. Is it effective? Night Sorrow asked. Let's try it. Sikong Chuyu's body flashed and appeared beside the rockery in the courtyard. He waved his hand and punched at the rockery. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs. Com bang. With a muffled sound, Sikong Chuyu smashed a protruding rock into pieces with a punch. Very good. Night Sorrow stood up and clapped his hands. He saw that Sikong Chuyu hadn't used Shin Qi. He had relied on his own strength and the strength of his fists to produce the effect. Not bad. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Night Sorrow took out a bowl of wine and poured a cup for Sikong Chuyu. Congratulations. As long as it's an ultimate attribute, one will be able to cultivate a unique body in the end. The only difference is that there are strong and weak ones. Ninth senior sister will also be able to do it in the future. Sikong Chuyu said. Yes. Don't worry about me. I have also been exploring the purple flame lightning attribute recently. I will also have a chance. Yang Lei walked out of the room. Night Sorrow had been cultivating every day. As a result, the two women were also very hardworking. Their cultivation bases had also improved rapidly. They were not far away from the peak 5th grade void inquiry stage. Yang Lei was a genius disciple of the Medicine Valley. Her talent was extremely high. It was just that she was overshadowed by Night Sorrow's brilliance. Sikong Chuyu was also a good seedling that was rarely seen in the Sikong clan in hundreds of years. Otherwise, Sikong Luyun would not attach so much importance to him and Ji Yu's clan would not have coveted him. Now that they had sufficient resources, their cultivation bases naturally improved quickly. I believe in ninth senior sister. I believe that you can do it. Also, these are soul crystals. You have to pay attention to the cultivation of your soul power. It's the most important thing. Night Sorrow gave each of the two women 10 soul crystals. D8X. Version 97 UK, we won't stand on ceremony with you. We really need these. Yang Lei kept the soul crystals. You have the time and space treasure pagoda to help you cultivate your soul power. In that case, we have nothing to worry about. Sikong Chuyu also kept the soul crystals. Yang Lei sat beside Yi Shang and said, Chuyu, a woman needs to find a good man. That way, you won't have to worry. Hee hee. Indeed. It was the right choice to come to the eastern Xian region, Sikong Chuyu said. Night Sorrow smiled at the two women. He felt that he was very happy now. The two women were very considerate and understanding. After staying with the two women for a while, Night Sorrow returned to his room to cultivate. He had a clear cultivation direction. What he needed was time and accumulation. The two women chatted for a while and also went to cultivate. Yang Lei had some insights into the purple lightning attribute, so she planned to make a breakthrough in one go. Night Sorrow cultivated diligently every day. The Medicine Valley was also bustling with activity. It was mainly because they had done a good job of expanding the supply of elixirs. There were 7 superpowers in the eastern Xian region. However, the Scarlet Cloud sect only existed in name now. In fact, it had been banned by the eastern Xian city. The eastern Xian city did not have any businesses belonging to the Scarlet Cloud sect. Even the teleportation array that led to the Scarlet Cloud sect had been closed. The Scarlet Cloud sect could only lie on the ground and struggle at death's door. If they dared to make any moves, the eastern Xian city would directly destroy them. In addition to the Scarlet Cloud sect, the Medicine Valley had expanded its resources to the Holy Light sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, the Southern Dipper sect, and the Star Cloud sect. The business was doing very well. These 4 sects had their own alchemists, but the elixirs refined by them were not at the same level as those produced by the Medicine Valley. Therefore, the Medicine Valley's elixirs were particularly welcome. The cooperation between the two sides was a win-win situation. Coupled with the friendship between them, there was no problem at all. Seeing that the Medicine Valley was cooperating with the other 4 forces, the Walkabout sect, which originally did not have much interaction with the Medicine Valley, took the initiative to visit. They wanted to form a deep alliance with the Medicine Valley and invite the Medicine Valley to do the elixir business with the Walkabout sect. Of course, the Medicine Valley did not mind this situation because the Medicine Valley needed resources to develop. The current situation of the Medicine Valley made the Peak Masters very happy. Although the resources of the Medicine Valley's disciples had been reduced recently, this was only a turnaround period, which was only a few months' time. Everyone was very grateful to Night Sorrow because they all knew that this was related to Night Sorrow. If the Peak Masters were to communicate with each other, this matter would not be easy to handle because the major sects might reject them, and the problem of trust would be difficult to solve. The Danding Cliff was even more lively. After the 8-dragon cauldron was upgraded, the speed and quantity of the energy of heaven and earth had increased, which could be of great help to the disciples of the Medicine Valley. This also allowed the Medicine Valley to relax the threshold for the disciples to climb the cliff. The disciples of the Medicine Valley all knew that the 8-dragon cauldron belonged to Night Sorrow. Everyone appreciated this kindness. Later, Elder Su reported that he wanted to make a sculpture of Night Sorrow at the foot of the Danding Cliff. Chapter 595. A genius remembers love in 1 second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Knight Sorrow's character statue was being carved at the foot of Pill Tripod Cliff. After the statue was completed, a change occurred, which was caused by the 8-dragon cauldron. The moment the statue was completed, the 8-dragon cauldron accelerated its rotation and directly sucked Knight Sorrow's character statue up to a relatively large step above the 3,000-meter platform. It was also wrapped in energy. It could be said that Knight Sorrow's character statue was protected by the 8-dragon cauldron. This incident caused a stir in the Medicine Valley. It also showed that Knight Sorrow was recognized by the 8-dragon cauldron. Another incident also caused a small disturbance. That was when a disciple of the Medicine Valley was climbing Pill Tripod Cliff. He approached the statue and wanted to grab the statue to climb. In the end, he was directly blasted off Pill Tripod Cliff by the energy of the 8-dragon cauldron. If Elder Su didn't rescue him in time, he would have fallen to his death. This disciple's action made Elder Su very angry. Elder Su, who had dedicated his life to the Medicine Valley, would not allow anyone to blaspheme Knight Sorrow, who had brought change to the Medicine Valley. The angry Elder Su directly deprived this disciple of his right to climb Pill Tripod Cliff. This disciple was a disciple of the Chu family in the Medicine Valley. He was Chu Ning's cousin. The disciple of the Chu family who felt that he had been treated unfairly was a little depressed. He went to Taishan Peak to complain to Chu Ning. Chu Ning and Tang Tian were practicing together. After hearing the disciple of the Chu family, Chu Ning directly slapped the disciple of the Chu family. Go back. You still don't know what you did wrong. Think it through first. Old Nine, calm down. Tang Tian said with a smile. How can I calm down? 13th uncle was fighting outside. Not only did he blaspheme, but he still doesn't know his mistake. If he told my uncle, I don't know how he would be beaten. I'm so angry. Chu Ning said angrily. The name Knight Sorrow was empty in the eyes of some disciples of the Medicine Valley. They knew about his deeds, but they didn't know about Knight Sorrow. But in the eyes of Chu Ning, Tang Tian and the rest, it was alive, and no one was allowed to blaspheme it. 13th Martial Uncle's life is very exciting. Qin Jin also went with him, but the two of us aren't strong enough. We'd better hurry up. If you don't have the strength to go, it'll be embarrassing, Tang Tian said. I really want to go, but I can't embarrass the Medicine Valley. Recently, I plan to go into seclusion and break through to the separating spirit stage. I don't believe that if I work hard, my cultivation won't improve and I can't keep up with the pace, Chu Ning gritted her teeth and said. The two of you are already doing very well. Don't pressure yourselves too much, Wu Qi said as he walked over. Disciples greet second martial uncle. Seeing Wu Qi, Tang Tian and Chu Ning both bowed. In the past few years, the Medicine Valley has taken in many disciples, but compared to your batch, those who came later are on a completely different level. The two of you, Ma Zhuang, Nangong Dai, and Su Feng are all very good. It's just that your 13th martial uncle is too dazzling, so others can't see you, Wu Qi said as he sat down. But this gap is too big. Our 13th martial uncle is about to enter the venerable stage, and we haven't even entered the 4th stage. Isn't this killing us? Tang Tian said. Take it slow. Don't be impatient. One's temperament is also an important factor in one's success. If you have time, you can go to Dongxian City and see how your 9th martial uncle and 13th martial uncle are doing. After saying that, Wu Qi left. Wu Qi liked the batch of disciples who had joined the sect at the same time as Knight Sorrow. Except for Knight Sorrow, the other 12 people were very hardworking and had good results in their cultivation. The most important thing was their temperament. When Gong Xian went to Danning Peak to take up a post, Chu Ning and Tang Tian didn't go with him because they thought that they were from Taishan Peak. Night Sorrow cultivated peacefully, paying special attention to his soul power, refining the heavenly fate pearl. I go shao shua 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 w, ai chux. Xiong. When he came out of seclusion again, Night Sorrow saw Wu Lingfei in front of the courtyard. Seeing Night Sorrow, Wu Lingfei smiled and nodded, then handed the soul extinguishing / manual to Night Sorrow. Aunt Fei, how is the effect? Night Sorrow asked after taking the manual. Very good. But the attack power depends on how condensed the crescent blade is. Also, the attribute. Even if Aunt Fei cultivates it, it won't be as good as yours. Wu Lingfei smiled. It's good that Aunt Fei can cultivate it. It's another trump card. Night Sorrow was very happy that Wu Lingfei could cultivate the soul extinguishing / Last time we talked, I forgot something. This is for you. Wu Lingfei took out a jade box and handed it to Night Sorrow. Looking at the jade box, Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that it contained a fire attribute origin stone. How is your cultivation of the soul extinguishing / Wu Lingfei asked after Night Sorrow put away the origin stone. It's okay, but it hasn't been tested in battle yet. Night Sorrow said. Then try attacking Aunt Fei. Wu Lingfei stood up and said. That won't work. Soul attacks can cause problems. Night Sorrow was a little worried. He didn't want to hurt Wu Lingfei. Don't worry. Aunt Fei has a soul defense spell. Wu Lingfei nodded at Yishang and walked 3 to 4 meters away. She then turned around to face Yishang. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow nodded to Wu Lingfei and used the soul extinguishing / He urged the crescent blade to slash at Wu Lingfei's spirit sea. When the crescent blade came close to Wu Lingfei's head, it was blocked. Night Sorrow could feel that it was a wave-like soul power that was blocking the crescent blade's advance. The crescent blade was very sharp because of Night Sorrow's soul power. After cutting through the wave-like soul power, it continued to attack Wu Lingfei's head. Square root update y soonish 6*89. The crescent blade had just entered Wu Lingfei's spirit sea when it was repelled by the turbulent soul power in her spirit sea. Very good. Very sharp. If you don't have a soul defense spell, it will be difficult to resist with just the soul power in your spirit sea. Wu Lingfei said. I can't even attack Aunt Fei's spirit sea. Night Sorrow said as he rubbed his forehead. If Aunt Fei doesn't use a soul defense spell to block it, the soul extinguishing / will directly attack Aunt Fei's spirit sea. Although it will still be repelled by the soul power, it will still cause some damage to Aunt Fei's soul power. Your soul extinguishing / has already surpassed the defensive power of Aunt Fei's soul defense spell. It is very sharp. Wu Lingfei said. I will continue to work hard in my cultivation, Yishang said. As your soul power increases, the soul extinguishing /'s offensive power and lethality will become stronger. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that the soul extinguishing / was a soul battle skill that could kill saints. Night Sorrow had never thought of giving up. Also, after you enter the Exalt realm, Aunt Fei will teach you how to condense a soul avatar. It is still too early to teach you now. Wu Lingfei said after thinking for a moment. I know. There is no rush. Right now, I should work hard to enter the Exalt realm. Night Sorrow nodded. Chapter 596. Genius 1 second. Remember love go / little? I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. The Phantom Stone is the best medium for the cultivation of the soul avatar. You don't have any problems with this. The most regrettable thing is that you can't get the Desolate Stone to improve your power of Desolates. That is the real trump card. Wu Lingfei said with some regret. She was helpless because the desolate stone was too difficult to get. This is a matter of opportunity. Maybe it's because I don't have enough opportunity. Night Sorrow said with a smile. You shouldn't say that. It's not that you don't have enough opportunity. It's that the opportunity hasn't arrived yet. Wu Lingfei corrected Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He felt that it was better to let nature take its course. After chatting with Night Sorrow for a while, Wu Lingfei returned to the observation tower to continue cultivating. Night Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash was equivalent to giving her a trump card. There were too few soul secret skills. Even if there were, they were defensive. Currently, the only high-level cultivator who was good at soul attacks was Bai Tiangu. This showed how precious soul secret skills were. In addition, Wu Lingfei didn't tell Night Sorrow that Night Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash was more promising than hers. This was mainly because of Night Sorrow's tyrannical attribute. Night Sorrow's main attribute was the void attribute. His true chi was also of the void attribute. His soul extinguishing slash was also of the void attribute. Although Night Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash didn't hurt her, it still had a strong corrosive effect on her soul extinguishing slash. After Wu Lingfei left, Night Sorrow played with Tianyu and Silver Fox in the courtyard to cultivate their relationship. This was directly related to Tianyu and Silver Fox's growth and fighting strength. If they had a good relationship with Night Sorrow, it would be much easier for them to fight together in the future. Tianyu also took Silver Fox out to hunt every day. In the eastern Xian region, almost all the venerables knew Tianyu and wouldn't attack Tianyu. Cultivators below the venerable realm wouldn't be able to attack Tianyu either. Not to mention anything else, just based on Tianyu's speed, cultivators below venerable ones could only drink the wind. Under Night Sorrow's teachings, Tianyu would not attack humans and would only hunt demonic beasts. After playing with the two beasts for a while, Night Sorrow went over to the god-slaying team to check on the situation. He asked around and was relieved to know that everything was going smoothly. Night Sorrow practiced his spear arts for a while before returning to the secret cultivation room to practice his basics. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs. Calm. The situation looked very stable, but in fact, it was just the calm before the storm. Original HW Tianji Tower had already mobilized people to the Taiqing region and was ready to go to war with the Tianfeng dynasty. The Tianfeng dynasty was very arrogant. Even though they knew that Tianji Tower was dissatisfied, they were still very arrogant and even continued to attack the members of Tianji Tower who were doing missions. In addition, the Jiyu family kept a low profile. This war was too big of a blow to them. It could be said that they had suffered a great loss. The foundation of the Jiyu family, Ji royal city and their ancestral land, had been completely destroyed. It could be said that no matter how much time passed, they would never be able to recover to their previous state. A family like the Jiyu family that started from war and made money from war suffered a terrible defeat. Not only did they lose face, but they also lost a large number of resources and experts. They also lost a lot of luck. Jiyu Haitian, who had been severely injured by Wu Lingfei, originally planned to return to Ji royal city to recuperate. However, when he arrived at Ji royal city and the ancestral land of the Jiyu family, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood when he saw the ruins of the ancestral land. After finding the senior disciple sent by the Jiyu family to rebuild Ji royal city and asking about the war situation, Jiyu Haitian returned to Sky-bearing city. The Jiyu family's influence and strength in Sky-bearing city had been severely damaged, and the other families had benefited. The Sikung family and the Yang family of Yunhua Mountain had also entered Sky-bearing city and taken over some of the properties that the Jiyu family didn't have the energy to manage. In the Jiyu family's mansion, Jiyu Haitian saw the dispirited Jiyu Fenglan. Then, Jiyu Haitian asked Jiyu Fenglan to gather the higher-ups of the Ji family. "Grand Elder, what's your situation now?" Jiyu Fenglan looked at Jiyu Haitian and asked. At this moment, Jiyu Haitian was in a very sorry state. Not only was he missing an arm, but he was also in a very bad state. Eastern Xian region and Tianji Tower have at least 3 saints and 1 half-step saint. I was very lucky to be able to escape from their encirclement, Jiyu Haitian said with a sigh. How can there be so many saints? Also, according to what the saint from Qingtian region said, Tianji Tower seems to have more experts, Jiyu Fenglan said. Don't clash with Tianji Tower and Eastern Xian region for now. Let's stabilize the situation first. We can't afford to fight at the moment. Jiyu Haitian was scared by Wu Lingfei this time. He knew that he was no match for Wu Lingfei even in a one-on-one battle. However, if he wanted to run, it would be very difficult for Wu Lingfei to kill him. The Xikong family, Yunwu Mountain, and other big families are eating up our destroyed properties. They have already taken over more than half of our destroyed properties. Jiyu Fenglan's expression was very ugly. Although he was still the city lord of Qingtian City, he was only in name now. Hurry up and take back as much as you can. Our properties are very important. It's related to whether our Jiyu family can recover or not. Jiyu Haitian's expression was very ugly. This situation made the Jiyu family even worse. Grand Elder, can you kill the venerables of the Xikong family? If you kill their venerables, they will have to spit out our territories. Jiyu Yuanhang looked at Jiyu Haitian and said. He knew that a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Although Jiyu Haitian was severely injured, as long as he took action, the Xikong family would suffer a serious blow. This method won't work. Didn't the saint who stopped the realm war say that saints can't participate in the realm war? If I go to seize their territories and kill the Xikong family's people, it will cause some trouble, Jiyu Haitian said. The other members of the Jiyu family nodded as well. This was very risky. If we attack too hard and force the Xikong family into a corner, the Xikong family will form an alliance with the Heaven's End Tower, or join forces with other forces to attack our subordinate forces. That will be a big problem, said Jiyu Haitian. Endure. Recover first. As long as we recover our strength, we can still take back our properties. The Xikong family has no saints, this is their weakness, Jiyu Fenglan said. That's it for now. We have to endure. Fenglan, help me gather some treasures that can increase my vitality. My origin is injured and my meridians are frozen. I need treasures that can replenish my vitality and blood qi, Jiyu Haitian said to Jiyu Fenglan. Chapter 597. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. If I want to regrow my severed limbs, I need treasures that can replenish blood and vitality. If it's these 2 things, I must get them. Love go little say web, Chu find out what the mission is and send people to do it with all their might, Jiyu Haitian said and then left. He was seriously injured and had to heal as soon as possible. After Jiyu Haitian left, Jiyu Fenglan looked at the higher-ups of the family and said, try your best to recover the territory and foundation first. Also, send people to see what the mission of Tianji Tower is about. We must complete the mission at all costs. The Grand Elder must recover. Yes. The members of the Jiyu family bowed and accepted the order. They were all smart people and knew what Jiyu Haitian meant to the Jiyu family. Without Jiyu Haitian, the Jiyu family would fade out of the history of the Qingtian territory when Jiyu Fenglan's foundation was destroyed. The Jiyu family acted quickly, but they had lost more than half of their foundation. The Xikong family and Yunwu Mountain didn't hold back. A few days ago, the Jiyu family wanted to attack the Xikong family. The Xikong family and many people in the Qingtian territory knew about it. When the Sikong family was fighting for the territory, they spread the news that the Jiyu family had set fire to their own stronghold in order to attack the Sikong family. This kind of public opinion was unfavorable to the Jiyu family, and it made the Sikong family's counterattack reasonable. Before the battle, Sikong Tianding had communicated with Lin Yuandao. From Lin Yuandao, Sikong Tianding knew that Sikong family had made a move. Jiyu family could not start a war and could only endure. The saints were now just decorations. Sikong Tianding and Tianji Tower also reached an agreement. If the Jiyu family sent out the saints, the Tianji Tower would be responsible for it, and the Sikong family would be willing to give up 30% of their foundation. After reaching an agreement, Sikong Tianding arranged for the Sikong family to take action. He was not a reckless person and took every step steadily. Every day, Knight Sorrow would cultivate peacefully. When he was free, he would chat with the two girls and check on the progress of the members of the god-slaying squad. Other than that, he would play with Tianyu and Silver Fox for a while. One night Sorrow had just returned from the god-slaying squad when he ran into Ning Qingfeng. He was there to report that a disciple of the Medicine Valley had come to see him. Hearing that he was a disciple of the Medicine Valley, Knight Sorrow went straight to the gatehouse. Seeing who it was, Knight Sorrow was very happy. It was the disciples of the Medicine Valley, Nangong Dai, Ning Qing, Chiu Jing, Su Feng, Qing Jiang, Shen Rong, Ma Zhuang, Chu Ning, and Tang Tian. Love go little say ku. Other than the two who are in closed-door cultivation, all the junior brothers who joined the sect with 13th uncle are here, Tang Tian said. It's been a long time since we last met. Since you're in Dongxian City, I'll entertain you, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. I knew it. 13th uncle is still the same old 13th uncle. You're still a little afraid. I wonder what you're afraid of. Tang Tian said with a smile. Let's go in and have some tea first. We'll set up a banquet at noon. Knight Sorrow nodded to the crowd. Knowing that a group of people had come, Jiang Ziming also ran over. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu also came to greet the group. Knight Sorrow asked Aunt Feng to arrange the guest rooms for everyone to stay. 13th uncle, can you take me with you when you fight in the future? Chu Ning asked. Me too, Tang Tian said. It's not fun to fight outside. You're all the future elites of the Medicine Valley. You can't be lost, Knight Sorrow said. Knight Sorrow didn't want to refuse, but in fact, he really couldn't take them with him. The three people with the highest cultivation were at the peak of the core formation realm, but Knight Sorrow and the others' opponents were all above the 5th stage. We're not afraid. When Chu Ning and I came this time, we already asked Master. Our Master said that the two of us can go out and explore, Tang Tian said. No, we can't take you with us, Knight Sorrow said with a sigh. It's not us, it's senior brother Tang and I. Of course, they can't. They're all the treasures in the hands of our uncle masters, Chu Ning said with a smile. Chu Ning, you're not kind. Nangong Dai pointed at Chu Ning and scolded. 13th uncle, don't be in a hurry to refuse. Give Chu Ning and me a chance. If it doesn't work, we'll be driven back. Tang Tian bowed deeply to Knight Sorrow. Then the two of you can stay for a while. We'll see what happens. Knight Sorrow said helplessly. First those two bastards actually ran ahead of me. 13th Martial Uncle, I've already told Master. This is the letter he wrote for you. Ma Yizhuang took a step forward, took out a letter, and handed it to Yishang. Okay, you guys go and stay first. We'll wait for your 13th uncle to make a decision, Yang Lei said with a wave of her hand. After arranging for the group to stay, Knight Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu returned to the bamboo house in the backyard. After reading Wu Qi's letter, Knight Sorrow shook his head. Wu Qi said in the letter that Ma Shizhuang wanted to go out and explore. If it was convenient for Night Sorrow, he should take him in. Since eldest senior brother and second senior brother said so, how can I refuse? But these three guys' cultivation is a bit low. This is a problem. Night Sorrow felt a headache coming because he couldn't refuse. It's fine. If they want to stay, they can stay. When there's a mission, they can be arranged appropriately, Yang Lei said. That's the only way. What else can I do? However, the three of them are not bad. They will be able to enter the 4th rank very soon. Once they enter the 4th rank, it'll be easy. With enough resources, their cultivation will increase sooner or later, Night Sorrow said. Zimming is a bit lacking. Also, Zimming's killing intent and bloodthirst are not enough. He has a calm personality and is a good candidate to inherit senior sister's line, Yang Lei said. Yang Lei knew that as long as she asked, Night Sorrow wouldn't refuse. However, she also knew that Jiang Zimming was not suitable. In terms of personality, Jiang Zimming was not the same type as Chu Ning, Tang Tian, and Ma Shizhuang. Everyone's temperament is different. It's impossible for them to walk the same path. Night Sorrow nodded. At noon, Night Sorrow held a banquet and called Jiang Zimming over. After drinking a few bowls of wine, Night Sorrow stood up and said, Tang Tian, Chu Ning, and Ma Shizhuang, I'll keep the three of you. However, don't think too much about it. Personality, temperament, and other factors determine everyone's path. Some people like to let nature take its course. This is the Tao of inaction. Some people like to go with the flow. This is the Tao of inaction. 13th Martial Uncle, we understand. 13th Martial Uncle and the others have been fighting outside. Your deeds have made people's blood boil. However, I've thought about it. This is not what I want. I just want to cultivate quietly, Nangong Dai said. That's right. Liking is the most important thing. Although I won't keep you, I'll always welcome you to come and play whenever you want, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Thank you, 13th Martial Uncle. Everyone stood up and bowed to Night Sorrow. Chapter 598. Genius 1 second. Remember, love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Yes, you three will know what cruelty is later. 9th senior sister, I plan to hand them over to Xueling for training. When Xueling and the others are ready to carry out the mission, they will pass. Love go little say, Chu Night Sorrow looked at Yang Lei and announced his decision. Let's do that. If they can't handle it, they can go back, so they don't lose their lives in the future. Yang Lei nodded. The cultivation intensity of the original Blood Strike Guard could be said to be brutal. When the Celestial Fate Palace team had seen it, they had been extremely shocked. However, everyone's cultivation level was now the same. Ho Jian and the others were also strict with themselves, so their cultivation and training level naturally wouldn't be any lower than the original Blood Strike Guard. After drinking, Night Sorrow led everyone to the God-slaying team's area. Night Sorrow waved his hand and called for Xueling and Ho Jian. Captain. Xueling and Ho Jian saluted Night Sorrow as they came to greet him. These three guys are disciples of the Medicine Valley. They want to fight with me. As their martial uncle, I can't not give them a chance. But they have to grasp the opportunity themselves. From today onwards, I'll leave the three of them to the two of you. You can decide the training plan and goal. If they can't complete it or feel that it's not good enough, let them go. Night Sorrow pointed at Ma Shizhuang, Tang Tian, and Chu Ning. Ma Shizhuang and the other two came out and bowed to Xueling and Ho Jian. Yes, if they have ideas, we have to give them a chance. But whether they are suitable or not is another matter. Captain, I won't compromise. That will harm them and the other brothers, Xueling said. You two can decide on this matter. From today onwards, they will train with you. Ninth senior sister, give them some resources later, Night Sorrow said to Yang Lei. After that, Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu left. The rest was up to Tang Tian and the rest. I don't know if they can withstand the pressure. Xueling and the others are not easy to deal with. They won't change their principles, Sikong Chuyu said. It's better if you don't know how to be flexible. If you do, you'll lose your life on the battlefield, Night Sorrow said. After returning to the main building in the backyard, Night Sorrow went to meditate and cultivate. Not everything could affect Night Sorrow's cultivation plan. He cultivated for an entire day. After exiting the cultivation chamber, Night Sorrow took a bath and changed into a new set of robes. Then, he went to the God-slaying squad's cultivation area. When Night Sorrow arrived, he saw Xueling training Ma Zhuang and the other two. Xueling was using the same level of cultivation to fight them, but the three of them were defeated by Xueling again and again. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao say www.aichuxs.com. In a battle, cultivation isn't necessarily the key to victory. Battle awareness and adaptability are very important. If the three of you can't last 10 minutes in 2 days, you can go back to where you came from. After defeating Ma Zhuang and the other two again, Xueling came to Night Sorrow's side. How about them? I still say the same thing. They can't compromise, Night Sorrow said as he looked at Tang Tian and the other two. They're just a so-so. However, if they can't meet the requirements, they'll have to leave, Xueling said. Night Sorrow nodded. He didn't have any objections to this kind of training. When Night Sorrow saw Yang Lei and Xueling, he said to Nangong Dai and the others, you guys don't have to watch. Let your ninth Uncle Master and Uncle Sikong show you around the city in the afternoon. After that, Night Sorrow left. He was just here to take a look. He wouldn't accompany Nangong Dai and the others to go shopping. Ninth Uncle Master, that training is a little too cruel. After following Yang Lei and the others out of the mansion, Nangong Dai said with lingering fear. She couldn't remember how many times Ma Zhuang and the other two had been defeated. There's nothing we can do about it. If we don't have strict requirements now, we'll just die if we go out to war, Yang Lei said. Can't we cultivate naturally? Su Feng asked. The members of the God-slaying team are required to have the ability to fight above their level. Actual combat strength is very important. The team won't accept members with high cultivation but low combat strength. If Ma Zhuang and the other two can't prove themselves, then your 13th Uncle Master can't do anything about it. After all, it's a team. Your 13th Uncle Master has to be responsible for the team. This isn't a joke, Yang Lei said. Night Sorrow returned to the secret cultivation room and started cultivating. Night Sorrow was still a little anxious because the war with the Tianfeng dynasty could start at any time. While Night Sorrow and the others were cultivating, Lan Yuxuan came to the Qingxin cottage. After learning that Night Sorrow was cultivating in seclusion, Lan Yuxuan waited. Night Sorrow's identity as a Heaven's Extremity emissary qualified her to wait. However, in the evening, Wu Lingfei appeared. Seeing Wu Lingfei, Lan Yuxuan quickly bowed. You must have something to do here. Wu Lingfei looked at Lan Yuxuan and asked. I'm here to deliver resources to Heaven's Extremity emissary. Someone completed the mission and brought back 2 desolate stones, Lan Yuxuan said. Oh. Someone actually completed the desolate stones mission. The mission reward was paid by Tianji Tower, right? What do you want? I'll give it to you, Wu Lingfei said. That person turned in the mission. He didn't want soul crystals or top-grade crystals. He only wanted life spirit fluid, Lan Yuxuan said. Show me the desolate stones. Wu Lingfei frowned. 3 key% unique. Square root original X edition A asterisk, all others are pirates, edition A Night Sorrow also came at this time. He nodded at Lan Yuxuan and called for the servants to make tea. After looking at the desolate stones, Wu Lingfei handed the desolate stones to Night Sorrow. However, she still narrowed her eyes and pondered. How much life spirit fluid? Night Sorrow asked. 10 drops, Lan Yuxuan said. Night Sorrow nodded. He filled a jade bottle with 10 drops of life spirit fluid and handed it to Lan Yuxuan. Then, Lan Yuxuan bowed to Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow and left the Qingxin cottage. It should be, Wu Lingfei said. What's wrong, Auntie Fei? Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for Wu Lingfei and asked. The 2 desolate stones just now were covered with dust, soil, and air. This means that they weren't newly obtained. They should have been stored for a long time. They didn't want soul crystals or top-grade spirit stones, but only life spirit fluid. This means that they urgently need to replenish their vitality. It's very likely that Ji Yu's family brought these desolate stones to Tianji Tower to turn in the mission, Wu Lingfei said. Isn't that giving Ji Yu Haitian a chance to recover? Night Sorrow said in surprise. He didn't want to give Ji Yu Haitian a chance to recover because of him. It doesn't matter. Even if you give him a treasure to replenish his vitality, it will be very difficult for him to recover. Not only did he lose an arm, but you also hit him twice with the mysterious jade hand. His condition isn't good. Even with the help of life spirit fluid, it's unlikely for him to recover. It's even more impossible for him to increase his cultivation. He's no longer a match for you, Wu Lingfei said. That's good. I don't want my resources to go to my opponents, Night Sorrow said. Ha! Aren't there resources supporting your rise? It's hard to say who will suffer losses and who will benefit, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. But I need a lot of desolate stones. It's not easy to convert the energy in my body into desolate's power, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 599. Genius 1 second. Remember, love divided by go divided by little. I'll provide you with wonderful novels to read. I understand. I plan to go to the desolate sea when I have time. I have to find my own opportunities. It's a bit difficult to wait for them, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a moment. Your thoughts and train of thought are correct, but you should wait. Aunt Fei won't be at ease if you don't go out until you reach the Venerable Realm. Only when you reach the Venerable Realm and can cultivate the spatial crack will I be at ease, Wu Lingfei said. I understand. Don't worry, Aunt Fei. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. You're in a good state now. How about this, come with me. I'll teach you the secret technique of soul avatar. Wu Lingfei then led Night Sorrow to the viewing tower. Updated, new, fast equals 7. After arriving at the observation tower, Wu Lingfei gave Yishang a general description of the soul avatar. The requirements to cultivate soul avatar were very high. Similarly, the stronger one's soul power, the better. If one's soul power cultivation was low, even if one had the secret technique of soul avatar, they wouldn't dare to cultivate it. If they failed, the consequences would be very serious. To cultivate soul avatar, one had to first separate a strand of soul power and put it into the medium of the avatar. There were many kinds of medium to cultivate soul avatar, such as soul-raising stone, yin-yang stone, fantasy spirit stone, but the best one was the phantom stone. Love go little say W. Chu. After the soul power entered the medium, one could cultivate it. In the beginning, the medium couldn't leave the body until the avatar was formed. Before the avatar was formed, the body had to control the soul power to absorb the energy of the phantom stone and use the soul power as the core to form the body. This was the first stage. The second stage was cultivation. After the avatar was formed, it began to absorb energy to strengthen the body. The cultivation of soul avatar is divided into 3 levels according to the amount of soul power you put in. The more soul power you put in, the higher the starting point of the avatar. The highest level of soul avatar will have 70% of the body's combat power after it's cultivated, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. I think Auntie Fei should have some good suggestions for me, Night Sorrow said. That's right. Low-level soul avatars don't have much battle prowess. They just need to be stationed in important places. If something happens, the main body will be the first to know. This is relatively simple. All you need is a strand of soul power. It won't affect the main body. The second is a soul clone with 30% to 40% of the main body's fighting power. This requires a third of the main body's soul power. Almost no one dares to touch this kind of thing, Wu Lingfei said. Why didn't anyone touch it? Night Sorrow asked in confusion. Listen to Auntie Fei first. That was the first 2. The third one requires half of the soul power. When this kind of avatar is cultivated to the large success stage, it will have 60% to 70% of the original body's fighting power. Because of this choice, those who can cultivate soul avatars will either cultivate the first one, which won't cause any harm to the body, or the third one, which will cause great harm to the body. But once the soul avatar is successfully cultivated, it will be equivalent to having an additional battle partner that is connected to the mind. The second one is a bit useless, so very few people cultivate it. Wu Lingfei explained to Night Sorrow why almost no one cultivated the second one. Then I'll definitely cultivate the third one. Night Sorrow directly made his decision. The first one didn't have much meaning and the second one was useless. Auntie Fei guessed that you would choose this and will support your choice. Auntie Fei told you about the ordinary soul avatar cultivation methods. But Auntie Fei's soul avatar cultivation methods are high level. When the third one is cultivated to the large success stage, it will have 90% of the original body's strength, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Auntie Fei has many cultivation methods, and they are also powerful. Night Sorrow smiled at Wu Lingfei. Baidu search AI _go _shao _shua www.aichux.com. No, in fact, many of Auntie Fei's battle skills and cultivation methods are inherited from the clan. High-level spirit beasts all have their clan's inheritance. When they grow to a certain extent, they will comprehend the clan's secret skills. Alright, listen well, Auntie Fei will now tell you the specific cultivation method. Wu Lingfei moved closer to Night Sorrow and told him the cultivation method for soul avatar. After speaking, Wu Lingfei's face turned pale and her body swayed. Auntie Fei, what's wrong? Night Sorrow reached out to support Wu Lingfei. Although some things shouldn't be done, if you want to do it, the secret skills of the Ice Phoenix clan should not be taught to others. There are some restrictions on the soul. Auntie Fei is a bit overboard. Wu Lingfei took 2 deep breaths and said. Auntie Fei, I don't want to learn it. Night Sorrow shook his head and said. It's okay, Auntie Fei can withstand it. If you didn't enter the sage realm, the consequences would be serious. Now it's not a big problem, but you can't teach this to others. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. I understand, I definitely won't. Night Sorrow nodded seriously. You call me Auntie Fei, so this kind of punishment is not very serious. If you teach the secret skills to unrelated people, the consequences will be unimaginable. Auntie Fei will be fine after resting for a while. I will definitely recover in 2 or 3 days. But you cultivated soul avatar and your soul was injured. It will take some time for you to recover. Auntie Fei estimates that it will take at least half a year to a year. It shouldn't delay your advancement to the venerable realm. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Then Night Sorrow made a pot of tea for Wu Lingfei. Okay, if you want to cultivate, then finish the important stage here. Wu Lingfei took a sip of tea and said. Night Sorrow nodded and sorted out the Soul Avatar secret technique. Then, he took out the biggest Void Dao stone. Why is it so big? Isn't it the original one? Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Night Sorrow told her about how he had picked up the leftovers. You can even encounter such a thing. This is not bad. Wu Lingfei was also convinced by Night Sorrow. No one would believe that he could pick up a Void Dao stone so casually. Auntie Fei, then I'll start. After nodding to Wu Lingfei, Night Sorrow held the Void Dao stone with both hands. Then, he poured the soul power and the spirit sea into the Void Dao stone. The Void Dao stone did not reject anyone. It absorbed all the soul power that Night Sorrow could not see with the naked eye, but he could feel it. The consumption of a large amount of soul power was very uncomfortable. Night Sorrow persisted until half of the soul power and the spirit sea had disappeared. Only then did Night Sorrow stop. Then, he communicated with the soul power in the Void Dao stone and controlled the circulation of the soul power in the Void Dao stone to absorb the energy of the Void Dao stone. At this moment, Night Sorrow's face was pale, as if he had been severely injured. In fact, Night Sorrow's soul had been severely injured. This was because this was not an ordinary consumption of soul power. Half of the soul power that had entered the Void Dao stone belonged to Night Sorrow's source power. Forcefully enduring the discomfort in his body, Night Sorrow continued to communicate with the soul power in the Void Dao stone to cultivate. This was a very crucial step, and in the Soul Avatar secret technique, it was called foundation building. It took Yi Shang an entire day to stabilize the soul force within the Phantom Dao stone. The energy within the Phantom Dao stone formed a cocoon that wrapped around the soul force that Yi Shang had released into the Phantom Dao stone. It wouldn't be lost because of Yi Shang's lack of control. Chapter 600. Genius 1 second. Remember, love divided by go divided by little. I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Feeling stable, Night Sorrow opened his eyes, but his eyes were full of fatigue. This time, Night Sorrow's injury was very serious. It was an injury to his soul origin. Building your foundation is the most dangerous. Once you pass this stage, there won't be any big problems. Wu Lingfei said. Thank you, Aunt Fei. Night Sorrow said. Don't be so polite with Aunt Fei. Take this ice silk bag and put it in the Void Dao stone. Remember, don't let the Void Dao stone leave your side. That way, your soul power will easily dissipate and your compatibility with your main body will also be low. Also, be careful not to let other people's soul power come into contact with it. In ancient times, high-level spirit cultivators whose bodies were destroyed liked to steal other people's avatars when they were cultivating. Wu Lingfei said. Soul avatars can also be stolen. Night Sorrow said in surprise. You should know about possession. Just like the life saintess you met in the death space, what she did to you was possession. Possession is to erase other people's souls and seize the body. Stealing soul avatars is the same, and the success rate is higher. After all, soul avatars don't have much defense in the first stage. Wu Lingfei said. I understand. I will pay attention. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that there was nothing wrong with being careful. Love go little say W, Chu go back and rest. You also suffered serious injuries this time, but to cultivate soul avatars, this stage must be passed. Wu Lingfei said. After leaving Wu Lingfei's observation tower, Night Sorrow felt that he had indeed suffered a lot of damage. He didn't know how long it would take to recover. In the main building, Night Sorrow saw Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Night Sorrow, why is your face so ugly? Why didn't you leave the mansion? Sikong Chuyu asked as he helped Night Sorrow to sit down. It's fine. I'm cultivating a secret technique that consumes a lot of energy. I'll go meditate to recover. This time, it'll take a bit longer. Ninth senior sister, help me keep an eye on Ma Zhuang, Tang Tian, and Chu Ning. Also, get them some Tier 3 and Tier 4 medicinal pills. Don't use the team's resources. After saying that, Night Sorrow entered the secret cultivation room to cultivate. 13. What's wrong? Yang Lei's eyes were filled with worry. She didn't understand what was going on. It shouldn't be a big problem. If it was, he wouldn't have hidden it from us, Sikong Chuyu said. When Night Sorrow returned to the secret training room, he took out the void Dao stone and placed it on his legs. Then, he took out the profound turtle crystal and woke Xiao Kong up. What's wrong with you? Little Kong, who was awakened by Night Sorrow, immediately noticed that something was wrong with Night Sorrow. Yishang then told him about how he had cultivated a soul doppelganger. The spacetime pagoda has the ability to repair the flaws in a cultivator's soul. As for whether or not it can help you repair it, I don't know. Just give it a try. If it can't repair it, then replenish it, Little Kong said to Night Sorrow. Depleted energy and origin energy were two completely different concepts. Depleted energy could be replenished with some time. However, if one's origin energy was damaged, it would be very difficult to repair. If one consumed too much energy, it wouldn't be considered an injury. However, if one's origin energy was damaged, it would be a serious injury. After cultivating for 2 hours, Night Sorrow smiled. The spacetime pagoda was simply too overbearing. It constantly provided energy to strengthen the quality of one's soul power. It was just like when Night Sorrow first entered the spacetime pagoda. Back then, Night Sorrow's soul power wasn't perfect. It was the spacetime pagoda's energy that improved it to a perfect state. The effect was beyond Night Sorrow's imagination. Since it could be repaired, Night Sorrow felt at ease and began cultivating. Night Sorrow was now cultivating naturally. Other than providing energy to repair his soul, the spacetime pagoda was also assisting Night Sorrow's cultivation of his primary energy and bloodline power. With the assistance of the black tortoise crystal, the myriad Dao's treasured tome's cultivation speed was also very fast. Time slowly slipped away and Night Sorrow's soul slowly recovered. It was a fundamental recovery. 1 month had passed, but Night Sorrow still hadn't come out. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu grew anxious. The two of them didn't dare disturb Night Sorrow and went to look for Wu Lingfei. Wu Lingfei told the two that Night Sorrow had suffered some injuries due to cultivating his secret technique. He needed time to recover and there wasn't any problem. After hearing Wu Lingfei's explanation, the two of them were relieved. During this period, Lin Yuandao also came once to discuss the matter of attacking the Tianfeng dynasty with Wu Lingfei. After hearing that Night Sorrow was in seclusion, he didn't disturb Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's seclusion this time was the longest. It was only until the 3rd month that his soul power recovered to its original state. After sensing his spirit sea, Night Sorrow was overjoyed because his spirit sea was incomparably round again. It had once again reached its perfect state. In addition, Night Sorrow's primary energy had also reached the peak of the 8th level of the Void Inquiry stage. His myriad Dao's treasured tome had also reached the mid-6th level of the Dao-seeking realm. After drinking 2 mouthfuls of wine from the wine jar, Night Sorrow went out of the secret cultivation room. After taking a bath, he went to the main hall of the main building and brewed a pot of tea. Why are you in seclusion for so long? Why can't you rest before going? You don't know how worried we are. Yang Lei came out and glared at Night Sorrow when she saw him. There's something wrong with my body. I went to recover. Night Sorrow said. Seeing that your mental state is excellent, there shouldn't be any problem. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. I'm fine. I've fully recovered. Then I'm relieved. Also, there's something I want to tell you. I've already comprehended the purple flame lightning attribute. I'm also cultivating my body now. I've asked Aunt Faye and she said that it's the purple flame physique which is relatively more domineering. Yang Lei told Night Sorrow a piece of good news. This is great news. I still need to get you some lightning attribute crystals. That way, your cultivation base will improve faster. Night Sorrow said. While Night Sorrow and Yang Lei were chatting, Sikong Chuyu also came. After asking about Night Sorrow's situation, Sikong Chuyu saw the ice silk bag on Night Sorrow's waist. Night Sorrow, what bag is hanging on your waist? It's a void Dao stone. I've cultivated a soul avatar. Night Sorrow didn't hide it from the two girls because there was no need. If the two girls wanted to talk about learning, Night Sorrow would explain. Yi Shang wouldn't selfishly hurt Wu Lingfei for the sake of the two women. So it's like this. You're not feeling well because of cultivating a soul avatar. Yang Lei understood the key. It's like this. How's the situation outside? Have Ma Shizhuang and the other two adapted? Night Sorrow asked. We don't know what the situation is like. Chief K Lord came once. Also, Ma Shizhuang and the other two are not bad. They all endured Xue Ling's devilish training and entered the severed soul stage last month. Now, everyone has accepted them. Yang Lei said. Then let's go take a look. I'll give them some gifts. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 601. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. When Night Sorrow arrived, Ma Shizhuang and the other two were practicing their combat skills under Ho Jian's guidance. Baidu search AI go female sign Shao say www.aichuxs. Com. Seeing Yi Shang arrive, everyone stopped cultivating and cupped their hands in greeting. Xue Ling, Ho Jian, how are the three of them? Night Sorrow looked at Xue Ling and Ho Jian and asked. Not bad. They just need to slowly improve their cultivation. Their combat awareness and combat skills are good, Ho Jian said. Xue Ling also nodded. You three, come here. Night Sorrow waved at Ma Shizhuang and the other two. After Ma Shizhuang and the other two came over, they bowed to Night Sorrow. In the team, I'm your team leader. In private, I'm your uncle. Night Sorrow emphasized his position. Seeing Ma Shizhuang and the other two nod, Night Sorrow took out 3 beast taming crystals and gave them to them. Then change your mounts. When you're done with your cultivation, come with me. I'll buy you a few battle robes. Ma Shizhuang and the others nodded. They knew that this was their uncle's concern. After watching everyone practice for a while, Night Sorrow greeted the two girls and went to the observation tower where Wu Lingfei was. When Night Sorrow arrived, Wu Lingfei also came upstairs to the living room and personally made tea. Something's not right. The effect of cultivating the soul doppelganger seems to have disappeared. This shouldn't be. Even if it's recovered, it's only a quantitative recovery. If the soul isn't complete, it will affect you for a long time. Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Then Night Sorrow explained the characteristics of the spacetime pagoda and the reason why he had recovered. That's great. I didn't expect the spacetime pagoda to have such an effect. Then you just need to cultivate slowly. Can you feel the soul doppelganger now? Wu Lingfei asked Night Sorrow. It's already formed, but it's only the size of a fist. Love go shao shua w, Chu Night Sorrow said. It's good that it's formed. Once it's formed, you can continue to nourish it according to the secret cultivation method. This is not something that can be done in a day or two. It will take time, Wu Lingfei said. Then is Aunt Fei all right? Night Sorrow looked at Wu Lingfei and asked. It's nothing. It's just the backlash of my soul. After cultivating for 2 days, I've already recovered. Your cultivation base has already reached the peak of the 8th level of the void inquiry stage. You're about to advance to the next realm. It's indeed fast. Seeing Night Sorrow's cultivation base, Wu Lingfei sighed with emotion. This is all thanks to the space-time pagoda. As long as I can refine it, it can provide me with an endless supply of energy. I'm only responsible for refining it. Night Sorrow was very glad that he had obtained the space-time pagoda. Otherwise, not only would his cultivation speed not be so fast, he would also have to consume a large amount of resources. In the past, the space-time pagoda provided energy for many people in the Qingtian region to cultivate. Now, it's only for you. Of course, there's no problem. You're really lucky, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. While drinking tea and chatting, Night Sorrow felt very relaxed at this moment because everything was going smoothly. You just need to focus on your cultivation. Aunt Fei will prepare a spiritual weapon for you to use for your clone. After drinking a pot of tea, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Spiritual weapon. Night Sorrow looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Yes. It takes a very long time to nourish your soul clone. This time is enough for you to advance to the venerable realm. Do you think I still need to prepare a 5th grade weapon and defensive equipment for you? Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and said with a smile. I still have a spiritual weapon. To be more precise, it's a mid-grade sacred treasure. However, I can't take it away and use it. That will make me seem immoral. Night Sorrow told her about the 8-dragon cauldron. Your cultivation base has indeed caught up. However, you're still an idiot in some aspects. Wu Lingfei shook her head helplessly. Then, she told Night Sorrow that as long as it was a complete and not a damaged sacred treasure, even a high-level spiritual weapon would have a secondary body. Although the secondary body was very different from the main body, it still had the general functions. That means that once my soul clone is cultivated, I can bring the main body of the 8-dragon cauldron with me to protect myself. Night Sorrow asked with some joy. Yes. Of course, the secondary body doesn't have a weapon spirit. It can only be used for some normal purposes. However, it can still be used to continue cultivating the disciples of the Medicine Valley. Wu Lingfei nodded. Genuine our first Z, that's great. Yi Shan was very excited. You're indeed lucky. There are very few spiritual treasures now, but you actually have a sacred treasure. Normally, it's very difficult to use weapons and magic treasures that are of a higher level. However, it's a different matter to obtain the approval of the weapon spirit. Therefore, there's nothing to say about your luck. Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow with a smile and said. When the time comes, I'll take the materials and trouble Lord K to help me forge another spear. The reincarnation spear in my hand can only be advanced. I won't replace it. Night Sorrow nodded and said. Yes, you can't replace the spear in your hand because there's something special about it. The blade of the spear has the characteristic of destroying souls. After you enter the venerable realm, you should study it carefully. Wu Lingfei said. My master said that the blade of the reincarnation spear is made of reincarnation stone, so I call it the reincarnation spear. Night Sorrow said. Reincarnation stone, hee hee. That's a top-grade material. No wonder I feel that it has the ability to harm soul power. It makes sense that it's a reincarnation stone. Wu Lingfei glanced at the reincarnation spear on Night Sorrow's back again and said. Then Wu Lingfei talked about the Tianji Tower and the Tianfeng dynasty. The battle hadn't started yet. Seeing that the Tianji Tower was making a big move, the Tianfeng dynasty stopped a little. On the Tianji Tower's side, because the construction of the second base hadn't been completed yet, they planned to postpone the battle. The main reason was that Guo Zhao's injuries hadn't healed yet. Wu Lingfei's advice to Ling Yuandao was to wait a little. Guo Zhao was also a great fighting force. Once Guo Zhao recovered, the Tianji Tower's ability to deal with unexpected situations would be better. Knight Sorrow drank a pot of tea and left Wu Lingfei's observation tower. At this time, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu were about to take Ma Shizhuang and the others to the street. Since there was nothing else, Knight Sorrow followed along. You three can't blame your 13th martial uncle for being strict. He's doing this for your own good. If he's strict with you now, the chances of you losing your lives in the future will be much smaller. Yang Lei said to Ma Shizhuang and the others. Ninth martial uncle, the three of us understand. We're very happy to have such an opportunity. I don't know when we can really participate in the battle. Tang Tian said. Yes, it won't take long. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. At this time, on an isolated island in the sea, a purple-robed man was standing with his hands behind his back. Behind him were several black-robed men, who were reporting the recent events. You said that a young man surnamed Yi appeared in the eastern Xian domain and used the space rend when he killed the venerable of the Jiyu family. The man turned around. The man was tall and sturdy. His black hair was tied up in a bun on top of his head with a jade pendant. His sword-like eyebrows slanted to his temples and his eyes flashed with a sharp light. Chapter 602. Genius 1 second. Remember, love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Pay attention to this matter. The main thing to pay attention to is the situation in the Tai Ching region. Love go little say. Chu the purple-robed man closed his eyes and thought for a moment before speaking. There will probably be a war in the Tai Ching region soon. The Tianfeng dynasty is extremely arrogant and has been squeezing Tianji Tower. This time, they even participated in the domain war and stood together with the Qingtian region to attack the eastern Xian region. The eastern Xian region itself is inextricably linked to Tianji Tower, a black-robed man said. Ha! The Tianfeng dynasty is not too far away from destruction. The purple-robed man sneered in a low voice. Sixth uncle, when can we fight back? I want to avenge my family. A man knelt on one knee and 2 drops of tears fell to the ground. Get up. In the Night Moon clan, there are only men who die standing. There are no cowards who live kneeling. The purple-robed man waved his hand and helped the black-robed man up. Chapter 4. Are you all very anxious? In fact, our Night Moon dynasty is not afraid of the Tianfeng dynasty, the Qingming dynasty, or the Golden Dragon King dynasty at all. However, the water is very deep because the key to victory is not the battle between venerables. Do you know how our undefeated prince was defeated? They are a group of despicable and shameless people. The purple-robed man raised his head and roared. Sixth prince, please enlighten us. Another man bowed and said. It was a saint. A saint disguised himself as a venerable to launch a sneak attack. That's why Prince Ling Huan was severely injured. Our Night Moon clan also has a saint. You all continue to investigate. As for the children in the eastern Xian region who can use spatial techniques, don't forget to pay attention. That battle caused many families in our Night Moon dynasty to lose their homes. Many relatives are missing. 2 of our direct descendants are missing. Go and investigate again. After the purple-robed man finished speaking, he turned around and a spatial crack appeared in front of him. The man stepped into the spatial crack. The black-robed men watched the spatial crack close and then turned around and left the island. After accompanying Ma Zhuang and the others for a stroll on the streets, Night Sorrow returned to the backyard. "Are you going to train again?" Yang Lei asked Night Sorrow. "Yeah, Ji Yuhao didn't show up during the Realm War. I don't know what level he is at now. If I don't cultivate, I won't be able to catch up with him." Night Sorrow sighed and said. Night Sorrow hadn't heard anything about Ji Yuhao during this period of time, but he knew that Ji Yuhao's power would definitely soar. Ji Yuhao was a time warrior, so the Ji Yu family would definitely pay attention to him. "Ji Yuhao, why are you mentioning him?" "He is quite talented in the Ji Yu family, but if he is not a venerable, he will not be able to defeat you," said Sikong Chuyu. "You guys just don't know. He entered the Venerate realm before the Realm War. It doesn't matter if he's an ordinary Venerate. His element advanced from the Earth element to the Time element." Yi Shang shared the information he had obtained from Lin Yuan Dao. The chances of the Earth element evolving into the Space element are high, but the chances of evolving into the Time element are much lower. This guy actually managed to figure out the Time element. Sikong Chuyu said in surprise. The Time element is second only to the Supreme Being element. Ji Yu family will definitely nurture him with all their resources. Therefore, he will definitely grow fast. Therefore, I have to reach the Venerable Realm as soon as possible. Night Sorrow said. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu nodded. They both knew that Night Sorrow and Ji Yuhao had a huge grudge against each other. Firstly, from Ji Yuhao's point of view, it was Night Sorrow who snatched the woman he liked, which was equivalent to slapping his face. Besides, it was Night Sorrow who led his men to destroy the ancestral temple of Ji Yu family. It was impossible for him not to know about it. As for Night Sorrow's side, because of Ji Yuhao's order, the people of Ji Yu family chopped off one of Old Man Gu's arms. This matter could not be forgotten. Don't worry. He is definitely not a match for you. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and said. I have confidence in myself. As long as someone stands in my way, I will definitely kill him. I don't care who he is. Night Sorrow waved his hand at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu and went to the secret cultivation room. He wanted to break through to the 9th level of the Void Inquiry stage. Time Attribute. Ji Yuhao has actually comprehended the time attribute. This is not good news for us. Yang Lei said. Yes. Since he can change the flow of time, his combat power must be very strong. However, it won't affect Night Sorrow much. Let's not talk about other things. Night Sorrow has the power of desolation. Regardless of whether it's time acceleration or deceleration, it won't affect him much. Sikong Chuyu said. At this moment, in a manor outside Sky-bearing City, a man in blue robes was practicing his sword technique. If one looked carefully, they would discover that the sword light and the sword itself were flowing with undercurrents. After cultivating for a while, the man in blue robes kept his sword. However, the effect of your time deceleration is very strong. You just need to continue developing it in this direction. The time attribute is second only to the supreme attribute. It can suppress opponents at the same level as you and even those with higher cultivation bases than you. Ji Yufeng looked at Ji Yuhao and said. Grandpa, why don't you let me fight? Ji Yuhao looked at Ji Yufeng and asked. Because nothing can happen to you. You have just entered the Venerable Realm. If you encounter a veteran Venerable Realm expert, you will easily be at a disadvantage. You are the future of the Ji Yu clan. When your cultivation base improves, will it be difficult for the Ji Yu clan to return to its peak? Ji Yufeng looked at Ji Yuhao and said. Currently, Ji Yuhao was the most important trump card in Ji Yufeng's hand. This was also the reason why Ji Yufeng did not allow Ji Yuhao to fight in this domain war. Grandpa, I can wait for other things. However, I must kill that night sorrow of the eastern profound region. If I don't kill him, I won't be able to calm down. Ji Yuhao said. He couldn't wait to go to the eastern profound region and kill night sorrow. Night sorrow was a thorn in his throat. When Sikong Tianhua came to the Ji Yu clan with Sikong Chuyu's portrait and proposed a marriage alliance, Ji Yuhao had fallen in love with Sikong Chuyu. However, he received news that Sikong Chuyu and Night Sorrow were living together. The Sikong clan had also agreed to this matter. He felt that this was a disgrace to him. Don't worry. The Ji Yu clan will not fall. You can have any woman you want. Your foundation is too weak now. If you continue to improve, that guy won't be qualified to be your opponent. What you need to do is to become an invincible expert among venerables. Also, Grandpa won't hide it from you. The Ji Yu clan has saint crystals with the time and space attributes. As long as you have a smooth journey, you will have no problem entering the saint realm. Grandpa, I will work hard. Ji Yuhao nodded. As long as you work hard. Grandpa was tricked by the space-time pagoda at the most critical moment. Otherwise, Grandpa would have had the chance to enter the saint realm with the space attribute. I can't accept this, I can't accept this. Ji Yu Fenglan's eyes were filled with hatred. Even if he had 5 more days to complete the conversion, there was still a problem. If you asked who hated Yi Shang the most, it would be Ji Yu Fenglan. Chapter 603. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/small. I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Only $Ing, edition %, V% every 8 others. X is 1, Pirate, J edition 5, it's very difficult. The chances are slim. Although his comprehension is still there, it takes too much space energy to convert earth element Jin Qi into space element Jin Qi. Our family has some space crystals, but the quantity is too low. We can only convert 1/3 of it, which is meaningless. In addition, grandfather's life source and meridians have been severely damaged. It will be even more difficult for him to recover. Ji Yu Fenglan sighed and said. Can't we think of a way? Ji Yuhao frowned and said. Our family has exchanged for treasures that can replenish life source, but they are prepared for the Great Elder. We don't have any extra for grandfather. Ji Yu Fenglan sighed and said. They did get some treasures, but they were prepared for Ji Yuhai. He was helpless about it. The Great Elder's element is ordinary. Even a saint can't defeat him. He has no future. It's better to put all the resources on grandfather. Ji Yuhao's eyes flashed. Some things are better left unsaid. Grandfather has sent people to do missions again. Tianji Tower's foundation is deeper than our family's. They have more treasures. It's up to fate. The Golden Phoenix is grandfather's nemesis. We can't do anything about it. Ji Yu Fenglan said. You're not bad. I can help you, but there's a condition. At this time, a silver-haired woman appeared in the manor. Ji Yu and Fenglan greet senior. Ji Yu Fenglan pulled Ji Yuhao and bowed to the woman. He couldn't see her cultivation level, but he knew that she was a saint, and not a beginner saint. No need for formalities. The Qingtian domain belongs to the people of the Qingtian domain. Your family's grand elder doesn't have much potential. So what if he recovers? Even if he recovers, he won't be a match for him. The silver-haired woman was tall and slender. Her phoenix eyes were filled with mesmerizing whirlpools. I have no choice. My Tao foundation is destroyed. I can only ask the grand elder of my family to restore it, said Ji Yufeng. Your temperament is still lacking. Don't place your fate on others. I can help you recover your Tao foundation and even provide you with some space crystals. However, you have to promise me one thing. Don't start any civil war in the Qingtian region. The silver-haired woman looked at Jiyu Fenglan and said, Junior will keep it in mind. Hearing the silver-haired woman's words, Jiyu Fenglan bowed and said, This is a water spirit fruit, it can nourish and heal your damaged meridians. These space crystals, together with the ones stored in your family, should be enough for you to finish the upgrade. The rest is up to you. The silver-haired woman took out some resources and threw them in front of Jiyu and Fenglan. Thank you, Senior. Jiyu Fenglan's lifeless eyes lit up again. Time attribute, very good. The future of the Qingtian region depends on you youngsters. I still have a few time crystals here. You can have them. The white-robed woman waved her hand again and threw a few time crystals to Ji Yuhao. Ji Yuhao also bowed to express his gratitude. He knew that his opportunity had come. Also, I have something to tell you. Ji Yu family is not the only family with saints. Therefore, you have to think carefully before you do anything. Saints are not allowed to participate in the war. This was set by the saints of the 9 regions many years ago. Of course, new saints are not aware of this. Also, the Eastern Xian region cannot be bullied. You must not invade the Eastern Xian region. The consequences will be severe. Senior, can you leave your name? Jiyu Fenglan will remember it. Jiyu Fenglan cupped his hands towards the silver-haired woman. I am Yin Shi. Remember, even if there is a war with the Eastern Xian region, it must be carried out in the Taiwei region. Saints are not allowed to enter the Eastern Xian region. Yin Shi said and left the manor. Looking at the resources in front of him, Jiyu Fenglan laughed and said, The heavens have not let me down. Golden Phoenix, our enmity is not over. Congratulations, Grandpa. Ji Yuhao bowed. There needs to be a change in the plan. I can't provide the life spiritual liquid to the Supreme Elder. You can cultivate by yourself. Grandpa needs to find a safe place to cultivate in seclusion. A place where even the Supreme Elder can't find. No one can stop Grandpa from rising. After saying a few words to Jiyu Fenglan, he left the manor. Jiyu Fenglan, who now had hope, emerged once again. Ji Yuhao looked at the few time crystals in front of him and clenched his fists. He felt that he was not far away from fulfilling his ambition. Since the saints are not participating in the war, I can increase my cultivation base and kill my way into the Eastern Xian region. It won't be a problem for me to go there and kill Night Sorrow. However, he planned to go to the Taiqing region first because the Tianji Tower and the Tianfeng dynasty were confronting each other. After a few days, Night Sorrow finally came out from the secret cultivation room. You succeeded. Seeing Night Sorrow come out from the secret cultivation room, Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow happily. Yes. I'm at the peak of the void inquiry stage now. Night Sorrow nodded. After drinking a cup of tea with the 2 ladies, Night Sorrow told them about his plan. He planned to go to the Night Moon Sky to see the old site of the Night Moon dynasty. The 2 ladies nodded. They knew that this was Night Sorrow's worry. Night Sorrow was about to advance to the Venerable Realm. The state of mind was very important. Night Sorrow wanted to go to the Night Moon Sky to have a look. This was his worry. After that, Night Sorrow went to greet Wu Lingfei and told her that he wanted to go to the Night Moon Sky. Aunt Fei is indeed worried. However, I won't stop you if you want to go. When a bird grows up, it will have to fly alone. Be careful at all times. Also, keep your void Dao stone away before you fight. You must not be attacked or collided with. Wu Lingfei reminded Night Sorrow. Wu Lingfei was worried about Yishang, but she thought about it. Yishang had to walk his own path. He couldn't be protected all the time. Besides, she felt that it was impossible for a primary saint to kill Yi Shang. A high-level saint wouldn't be so bored. Besides, Yi Shang was only going to take a look at Yi Tian, not to fight. As long as he wasn't targeted, he would be fine. Knight Sorrow went to the god-slaying squad and gave them some instructions. Then, he left the Qing Axian courtyard on Tianyu and went to the strategic teleportation formation. They directly teleported to the underground Great Hall of the Heaven Fate Pavilion. Lord Heaven Fate Emissary is here. Are you going to the Dark Tower? Heavenly Star asked when he saw Knight Sorrow take off his mask. No, I want to go to the Tai Ching region. Can I teleport here? Knight Sorrow asked. Heavenly Star nodded at Knight Sorrow. Yes. Do you want to go now, emissary? The Tai Ching region is quite chaotic now. Some of the people from the Qingtian region City Lord Mansion are also there. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to take a look and increase my field of vision, Knight Sorrow said. Alright, I'll help you teleport. Heavenly Star nodded and helped Knight Sorrow start the teleportation. The two regions with the most developed teleportation formations in the Tianji Tower were the Tai Ching region and the Eastern Xian region. After helping Knight Sorrow teleport, Heavenly Star entered the Dark Tower and told the higher-ups of the Tianji Tower about this matter. After taking two teleportation formations, Knight Sorrow arrived at the most prosperous city in the Tai Ching region, Tai Ching City. Chapter 604. Genius 1 second. Remember, love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. However, Knight Sorrow didn't know that he was seen by a disciple of Ji Yu's family as soon as he stepped out of the teleportation array. This disciple of Ji Yu's family was a lucky survivor of the battle at Ji Royal City. This time, he was sent by Ji Yu's family to join forces with Tianfeng dynasty in Taiqing domain. He saw Knight Sorrow order the city lord's mansion to be burned down. When he saw Knight Sorrow, he immediately went to Ji Yu's family's stronghold in Taiqing domain and told the manager what he knew. Are you sure he's the leader of the group that destroyed Ji Royal City? Ji Yuhao, who happened to arrive at Taiqing domain, stood up and asked. I can't be wrong, but I don't know his name, said the disciple. Brother Feng, let's go. Since he dares to come to Taiqing domain, we must kill him. We can't give him a chance to go back, said Ji Yuhao as he stood up. Ji Yuhao stood up and said. The man standing beside him was Ji Yufeng. He was the one who brought people to Bamboo Garden Village and cut off Mr. Gu's arm. Brother Hao, we're venerables. If we kill him, who's not a venerables, Tianji Tower might be in big trouble. Ji Yufeng was a little worried. He had just entered the venerables realm and came to Taiqing domain to relax. He didn't have any other intentions. Love go little say wants you, do it secretly. Who will know it's us? Don't forget, he might have the Shantian Tower. If we take it back to our family, it'll be the greatest contribution, said Ji Yuhao. Hearing Ji Yuhao's words, Ji Yufeng's face lit up and he nodded. The Shantian Tower was the most precious treasure of Qingtian domain. If they took it back to Ji Yu's family, it would be a great contribution. After arriving at Taiqing domain, Knight Sorrow's heart calmed down. This used to be the territory of Night Moon dynasty. His family used to live in this area. He wanted to carefully feel it. Knight Sorrow went to a tea house and asked for a pot of tea. He found a seat by the window and sat down, looking at the map of the 9 domains and 18 prefectures. The Night Moon dynasty originally occupied a large area of the Grand Clarity domain, and the clan's core was the Night Moon Sky. Night Moon Sky was an island in the middle of the lake in the Night Moon City. It was also the true core area of the Night Moon Empire. Night Moon City was relatively far away from Taiqing City, nearly 2 million miles away. There used to be a teleportation array, but since the Night Moon City was destroyed by the various dynasties, the teleportation array naturally no longer existed. "Brother, may I have a seat?" A man with blonde hair came to Night Sorrow's table. He touched his chest with his left hand and nodded at Night Sorrow. "Sit." After sizing up the man, Night Sorrow nodded and pointed to the tea house opposite him. At this time, the business in the tea house was relatively good and there were no more seats. The blonde man looked at Night Sorrow and said, "I like the light mist tea here. Every time I come to Tai Ching City, I'll ask for a pot. This is also my favorite spot." "Sorry, I took your seat." Night Sorrow's gaze moved from the map to the blonde man. The blonde man was very handsome and had a very bright aura. He had a very clean and pure smile on his face. What was strange was that he had 2 curved blades at his waist. Although this man looked harmless, Night Sorrow knew that this guy was definitely not a simple character. The curved blades at his waist were definitely powerful weapons. The blonde man noticed that Night Sorrow was looking at his curved blades, so he patted the hilt and said, "Don't look at that. It's for enemies. In front of friends, it's a work of art." Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that this person was like him. If he didn't put his weapon in his storage ring, it was to cultivate compatibility. It could even be said that he believed in his weapon. His weapon was his companion. "This is the light mist tea. Today, I'll treat you to it." Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for the blonde man. Tea. D. Only 8 original A, the others were all F. Stolen tea edition. The blonde man, Yun Huang, looked at Night Sorrow and asked, "My name is Yun Huang. May I ask for your name?" Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Yun Huang and said his name. Night Sorrow. "I think I've heard of this name before. It's a little familiar." Yun Huang rubbed his slightly messy blonde hair and said. Night Sorrow just smiled. He didn't think that someone would be familiar with his name. Looking at the map. "Does this mean that you don't know much about Tai Ching City?" "Ha! It doesn't matter. Let's not talk about other places, but I know all the big and small places in Tai Ching City. Although I haven't walked around much, you can ask me if you want to know anything." Yun Huang said while drinking tea. "To be honest, Brother Yun, this is my first time in Tai Ching City." Night Sorrow said. He felt that Yun Huang was easier to get along with, so he spoke more casually. "Alright, where do you want to go? I'll take you there. I've been free recently, so I came out to relax." Yun Huang said. "Is that appropriate?" Night Sorrow didn't expect Yun Huang to say that. "It can't be more appropriate. Where do you want to go?" "We'll leave after drinking tea." Yun Huang took a sip of tea and said. "I want to go to Night Moon Sky." Night Sorrow said. As he spoke, his eyes were fixed on Yun Huang. He mainly wanted to see the changes in Yun Huang's expression. Night Moon Sky. That was once the holy land of our Tai Ching City. However, it was destroyed by a group of dogs and chickens through treacherous means. I also yearn for it. This time, I'll accompany you and burn incense for the Night Moon Dynasty's seniors who established the Tai Ching City's fame. Yun Huang exhaled and said. You're not hostile to the Night Moon Dynasty. You're surnamed Yun. You're from the Yun Dynasty. Night Sorrow guessed Yun Huang's identity. Yes, I'm from the Yun Dynasty. I, Yun Huang, am known as the Little Demon King. Yun Huang grinned at Night Sorrow with his snow-white teeth. Originally, I planned to stay for a few days before going. Since Brother Yun also wants to go, we'll leave after drinking tea. I'm not familiar with the roads, so we'll go wherever you want us to go. Night Sorrow said. Then, Night Sorrow and Yunhuang left the inn and went directly to the teleportation array. Then, under Yunhuang's command, the two teleported to the Golden Dragon King Dynasty's Golden Dragon City. Then, they teleported again and arrived at the border city of the Golden Dragon King Dynasty, Dragontail City. They're still close to 1,000,000 miles. However, we can't teleport anymore. We can only travel on flying monsters. Yunhuang said. There aren't any cities with teleportation arrays within 1,000,000 miles? Night Sorrow asked in astonishment. There aren't any. Back then, several dynasties joined forces to defeat the Night Moon Dynasty. The Night Moon Dynasty's territory was also divided. However, so what if they divided the territory? Who dares to construct the cities they conquered? No dynasty dares to do that. Although the Night Moon Dynasty was defeated, they're still alive. Who knows when they'll fight back? Yunhuang explained the reason for the current situation. So you're saying that the other dynasties are afraid of working for others? They're afraid that the Night Moon Dynasty will fight back. They're afraid that the areas they invested in will be taken back and all their efforts will be for naught. Night Sorrow understood the crux of the matter. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.